President Trump was stunned to learn that U.S. intelligence indicates new Iranian Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei may be gay.
Look at this thing.
Trump couldn't contain a surprise and laughed aloud when he was briefed on the intel.
Ha, that's so funny. Ha, ha, ha.
The implausible-sounding allegation is viewed as credible by U.S. spy agencies. Mojtaba has made aggressive sexual overtures to men.
Jeez.
I'm dead, you fucking bitch. Allahu Akbar!
In this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns and those who dig. Broadcasting from a Montana wilderness fortress at the headwaters of the Missouri, this is Matt Christiansen Live.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is Matt Christiansen Live, a proud duct tape production for Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. Thank you for tuning in. Sitting shotgun tonight is our favorite Knigga from Knigga, Joshy boy. Welcome back.
Hey.
And he's not the hero Gotham needs. Batman is here too. Welcome back.
Saddle up, partner.
I somehow am.
Hey, I had a quick joke when you were on with Robert. I called it Batman and Robert.
We did miss out on that opportunity.
Yes, and I'm very disappointed in you both. So.
Yeah, we'll have to remember that for next time. Our Canadian friend Mark Aaron was supposed to be here. He is ill.
You're fired.
So we send our regards up north. We hope for a swift Canadian recovery. But in the news for discussion tonight, Markwayne Mullin has his Senate confirmation hearing for DHS Secretary. Rand Paul wants justice for the mean stuff that Markwayne has said about him. I thought maybe the famous clip of Markwayne Mullin is him with Sean O'Brien, and Rand Paul actually brought this up. You want to do it now? I'd love to do it right now. They were going to fight. You guys remember that?
Yes, I do.
It seemed like maybe for a second we were going to get Rand Paul versus Markwayne in a potential fight today too, but it didn't happen. Actually, Rand Paul's point was violence is never okay. But I don't know. I'm a Rand Paul fan. Okay, that didn't change today, but I felt like this was a real bitch out moment for Rand Paul today. We'll see what you guys think. U.S. intelligence suggests new Iranian Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei is gay, if he's even still alive to be gay at all. He is rainbow cardboard, apparently. Joe Kent, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, resigns over opposition to the war in Iran, and we'll take calls, voicemails, and emails as well. If you'd like to call the show live, you can do that through the Discord server linked in the description. Speaking of which, I forgot to tell you guys to get into the Discord server, so you might
that's right. I always
do that in the meantime. But the Discord server is linked in the description. There are instructions and help available for you on the server. If you'd like to leave a voicemail or a text message, the number's in the description as well. Should have room for a few of those if you leave them in the next hour or so. Before we get into it, got to say hello to our featured listener-owned business for the evening. That's our friends at Knigga Mountain Woodsmithing. Knigga Mountain Woodsmithing makes high-quality, handmade premium hardwood cutting boards, charcuterie boards, serving trays, and more, all of which are great gift options or the perfect piece to class up your kitchen or anywhere else in your home. Blake at Knigga Mountain Woodsmithing made me a cutting board engraved with my very own channel logo, and it looks amazing. It's been a part of our family kitchen for a long time now. It has not aged a bit. And in addition to the quality, that's the best part about Knigga Mountain Woodsmithing's products. They are fully customizable, not just in materials, but in engravings too. So if you'd like to personalize a gift like that one, that can be arranged. Or if you have any other custom hardwood project in mind, no matter how big or how small, Knigga Mountain Woodsmithing can make that a reality for you. Just get in touch at kniggawood.com. All Knigga Mountain Woodsmithing products are made in Colorado from premium domestic hardwood sources. Knigga Mountain Woodsmithing is the absolute highest quality woodworking that will last you forever. The listeners of this show get 10% off all Knigga Mountain Woodsmithing products and services using promo code MATT10 at checkout. That's promo code MATT10 for 10% off everything at kniggawood.com, KINEOWOOD.com, promo code MATT10 at checkout. Find all the information on our special deals at mattchristiansenmedia.com/deals. Deals by listeners. For listeners. All right. AI is getting completely out of control. It's going to replace everybody. And the musicians are next, I'm afraid.
That's already happening.
Well, I can't believe how good this really is. So this week I got an email from listener Dave who said he is so inspired by this show's love and appreciation of Eastern Michigan Eagles linebacker Noah
Knigga
that he created music for the show in Noah's honor. He prompted AI to create the music is what he did, and not just one, but 2 tracks. Now, he called these songs Oh My Little Pretty One. I prefer simply My Knigga. It's roughly in the style of the 1979 hit My Sharona by the Knack. Here is the first track. The Robots made this. Okay, that is track 1.
Okay.
Hold your reactions until we've heard track 2. Same lyrics, same idea, little bit of a different feel.
Oh, my little pretty one, when you gonna give me some time, Knigga. Ooh, you'll make another run, gonna come in off the line, Knigga. Never gonna stop to show up in defense lines, always gonna feed up with his touch.
Okay, get ready for this. Okay, which is your preferred track?
The second one. I like the second one the best.
Okay.
I like the first one better.
The second one makes it feel like that you're entering some kind of half-breed between a cartoon and an anime.
It's got energy to it. They both do. Yeah. It's like 1 and 1A to me. I think they're both great, and I appreciate Dave's effort and the Robots' effort. That vocal range, the Robots' range, is very impressive in that second track. So I will use these occasionally for show purposes. And if you're curious how he did that, apparently he used a website called Suno. Have you guys heard of this?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I use it.
Okay, so you how easy is it to use?
Incredibly. But
so
you cannot do orchestral or instrumental tracks on it.
How
always put lyrics in it.
Okay. But as far as like, could I have it do a rap song as far as its stylistic range?
Yeah, you could do a rap
that
song if you wanted to.
Wow.
You can do heavy metal, country, pop.
And it's actually totally free.
Yep.
I can't believe that. Now here I am thanking Dave, and Dave probably typed in, make a song about Joshy and Noah Knigga. What happens if I do that? It's probably going to spit out the exact same song. Your songs are ready. 5 seconds.
Let's hear it.
Oh, I don't want to type in this crap. The hell with you, Suno. I'm not doing that. If you want to make your own songs, you can go to suno.com. I don't have any relationship with this company. I don't know why I'm promoting it. I find the tech fascinating. It's it's on one hand, it's awesome that you can create things like this for things like this show. On the other hand, it sucks that like a real human musician is I wouldn't say replaceable because that dismisses the talent.
So you're aware that my bachelor's degree was in music, right?
I was not. If you told me that, I forgot.
Damn, dude, the robots.
I have told you that.
Well, I'm sure. I just it slipped my mind.
Yeah. No, I was a musician. In fact, actually, when I joined the Marine Corps, that was what I joined for, to be part of the Marine Corps band. That was part of the reason why I never deployed. Well, that and I hurt myself really early on. So being a musician and seeing the way that AI has sort of co-opted music, and then being a voice actor, and then seeing the way that
you're
AI
never going to
has
be able
kind
to
of
voice
co-opted
John
voice
117 from Halo 50 by the time that comes out. AI is already doing it.
I can actually do Master Chief's voice.
I do remember those. I've heard you do it before. Yeah.
There is one song called
may I finish for a sec?
Go ahead.
Everything that I wanted to do when I was a kid is now like AI capable.
Just wait till they make the AI version of this show. It's already there.
And people wonder why I became an accountant.
So, hey man, I'm gonna have to be an accountant's assistant very soon the way this is going, so I'll see you then.
But
anyway.
there's a song called "The Way She Burns" by a guy named Raven Knight, and the first time I heard it, I was like, "Hey, man, that sounds pretty good. I like this song." But then YouTube took it down because it turned out it was promoting an AI band, and I was like, "Damn, I didn't even know that."
You can't do that. That's against YouTube's rules.
Apparently, because they nuked that shit, and some fan re-uploaded them all.
Huh. The thing that I don't think will be replaceable is live music. If you want a band to perform, like how's AI going to do that?
No, they already have.
They can have robots on stage. What are they going to do?
Not robots on stage. In Japan, they had these. Well, it's technically AI, but they have these little holograms that they put on stage.
Oh, bullshit. That can't be that great. That's some Japanese nonsense.
Dude, what buddy of mine in high school? What was it?
You're telling me it's cool?
No.
That's the thing. If it's not as good as a live band, then who cares?
I'm gonna butcher this, but it's a teal-haired girl named Miku, whatever. Somebody will correct me on that. But she has like
you're talking about Hatsune Miku.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so Japan made a series of purely digital.
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Like
digital.
Rock stars, sort of.
Okay.
And they actually do live performances that way sometimes.
Well, they do live performances, but they're basically projections on glass.
Yeah.
Is the way that works.
They do that. So they kind of technically already do that.
Yeah, but it still sounds like it sucks. The music, like that track is basically as good as a professionally produced track that a musician creates on their album. But there's no way the robot is going to play the song as good as the real guy who made that song if he did. You know?
No, never in 1,000 years. But
maybe.
I'm just letting you know they already kind of do that.
I can't believe I never would have thought in 1,000 years the AI could create music that believable, but here it is. So I guess it's just a matter of time. Anyway, did you guys see any of the Markwayne Mullin confirmation hearing today?
No, actually, I have not.
Well, you can help me decide if Rand Paul really bitched out or if I'm overreacting. But Markwayne Mullin, and remember, per our discussion 10 days ago or so when he was nominated after the ousting of Kristi Noem, it's not Mark Wayne, it's Markwayne. His name is just Markwayne Mullin. Oklahoma.
One word?
Yeah, it's one word. Markwayne. Let's see. Yeah, right there. See? Markwayne. So recall he's the Oklahoma senator who has been nominated by Trump to fill the Homeland Security Secretary position after Kristi Noem is gone. Rand Paul chairs the Senate Homeland Security Committee where Markwayne Mullin had his confirmation hearing today. And it really turned into a Rand versus Markwayne shit-talking show. The two, they don't like each other. Markwayne doesn't like what he sees as Rand Paul, his party betrayal, really, that he's Republican in name only. He throws the party under the bus. He grandstands, that sort of stuff. And so he has previously said something like, it was cool, or I understand why Rand Paul's neighbor kicked his ass or beat him up back in 2017. Okay, it was a physical assault, and that guy had a felony charge for it. So it was a serious assault, all joking aside. Markwayne Mullin said something like, I get why that guy did that, because I can't stand Rand Paul. And Rand Paul doesn't like Markwayne Mullin for that commentary and some other commentary. So Rand Paul is making a huge deal that Markwayne Mullin loves violence. And Rand Paul actually played that old clip that we watched 2 Sundays back when Mark was here, that classic Markwayne Mullin moment talking to the Teamsters Union president, Sean O'Brien, about fighting in the committee hearing. And if it wasn't for Bernie Sanders' intervention, maybe they would have come to blows.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Forget when that was, like 2023 or something, a classic moment. Except the weird thing about Rand Paul bringing that up as an example of Markwayne Mullin's love of violence is that Markwayne Mullin was sitting right in front of Teamsters president Sean O'Brien. They're actually friends now. So Sean O'Brien was right behind him supporting his nomination to DHS secretary. And Rand Paul, undeterred, Rand Paul can see that, but he still brings it up, still plays the video, and which is an awkward thing because Sean O'Brien is right there and he's not mad about it.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt.
Oh, stop it.
Say solution.
No, sit down. Sit down. You know, you're a United States Senator.
In hindsight, any regrets?
No, I really don't.
So no regrets. In fact, even after your anger had cooled, you were still bragging that if he'd only been brave enough to stand up, you'd have jumped over the dais and taught him a lesson, because that's how men should settle their differences. Do you think fighting as a resolution for political differences is a good example for the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol?
As you can notice over my shoulder here is my good friend Sean O'Brien. Both of us have had conversations. Both of us have shaken hands. And both of us agreed we could have done things different. That's how you handle your differences. Not like this, Chairman.
Bingo.
I can't hear you.
Yeah, sorry. I hit the mute button to cough and forgot to unmute it. Anyway, so Rand Paul can't claim to represent Sean O'Brien because Sean O'Brien is right there. And so Rand Paul hits the point a different way. He actually hit this point first. He went to the claim of appreciating violence against Rand Paul himself. This was earlier in the hearing, and he confronted or challenged Markwayne Mullin on that, on what he said about the assault on Rand Paul being understandable. And then, or he actually accused Markwayne Mullin of lying when Markwayne Mullin said that he previously did discuss this face-to-face with Rand Paul.
Instead of explaining your vote to continue these welfare programs for refugees, you decided to transfer the blame. You told the media that I was a freaking snake and that you completely understood why I had been assaulted. I was shocked that you would justify and celebrate this violent assault that caused me so much pain and my family so much pain. I just wonder if someone who applauds violence against their political opponents is the right person to lead an agency that has struggled to accept limits to the proper use of force. Instead of defending your vote, you took to continue the vote to continue these refugee welfare programs. You chose to lash out at me. You went on to brag that you'd already told me to my face that you completely understood and approved of the assault. Well, that's a lie. You have never had the courage to look me in the eye and tell me that the assault was justified. So today you'll have your chance. Today I'll give you that chance to clear the record. Tell it to my face. If that's what you believe, tell it to me today. Tell the world why you believe I deserve to be assaulted from behind, have 6 ribs broken and a damaged lung. Tell me to my face why you think I deserved it.
It's almost over.
Shut up, faggot.
Okay, do you want to see Markwayne's response quickly before you...
You know what the worst part about all of this is? I used to be a huge Rand Paul fan.
I mean, I still am, but I'm glad that, I'm relieved to know that I'm not
like
overreacting.
A fucking leftist.
It is some womanly behavior. It's bullshit. But Markwayne did... Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
do you want to offer a comment?
No, let me see the response.
Okay, so Markwayne responded to that challenge to come clean about whether he lied and to apologize for his insensitive commentary about Rand Paul. Here's what he said.
If you recall, back in my House days, we actually did have this conversation because of remarks that I made. You were in a room. I simply addressed that I said I could understand because of the behavior you were having, that I could understand why the neighbor did what he did. As far as my terms as a snake in the grass, sir, I work around this room to try to fix problems. I've worked with many people in this room. Seems like you fight Republicans more than you work with us. I did address those remarks. I did explain your gimmicks by the amendment you put forth. And as far as me saying that I invoke violence, I don't. I don't think anybody should be hit by surprise. I don't like that. But if I do have something to say, everybody in this room knows I'll come straight to you. I'll say it publicly and I'll say it privately, but I'll never say it behind your back. So for you to say, I'm a liar, sir, that's not accurate.
Ironically, I feel like I'm...
though.
Well,
he challenged you to say it to his face. You had an opportunity and you bitched out. Sorry.
No, I don't think Markwayne Mullin bitched out at all. You think Markwayne bitched out right there?
Colin, yeah, you deserve what happened to you and all that. I think just a little bit.
Well, he said in my prior...
exactly what he said, first of all. And second of all, do you think that if that's what he said, that's what Rand implied there?
Yeah, it would grant his framing. That's my problem, was just like dancing for the attempted puppeteering by Rand Paul right there. I feel like it's having the opposite. I feel like I am starting to understand Rand Paul's neighbor, like Markwayne said. No, I don't support assault on people. The guy is a convicted felon. All right, shouldn't have attacked Rand Paul. And I get that Rand Paul is making a broader point about temperament and physical aggression and suitability for the office. Here's a counterpoint, though, beyond just like whether we should litigate this personal dispute in a Senate hearing evaluating fitness for the office. Doesn't immigration enforcement and counterterrorism and the rest of your role as DHS secretary, doesn't that require a little toughness? I'm not saying Markwayne Mullin's going to go kick everyone's ass himself, but if you had to pick, like, if you had to err on one side between actually tough guy and giant pussy for that job.
Yeah, when Rand Paul was saying all that, it says, well, actually, I do want him to be able to kick people's asses. I will support that.
It's kind of important.
Yeah, it is kind of important.
I know that he's not going to kick the asses himself, and you can say that he's a fake tough guy or whatever, but the point is the department has to have that mentality, because there are a lot of asses that have to be kicked for the work that they do.
I would actually prefer that. Well, all right. Well, I'm not going to.
I feel like I stepped all over Batman earlier, so I want to make sure he has his chance.
There was a comment here that I was going to bring up from the chat, but
I didn't see it. What they say?
So,
well, let me offer another thought while you look for it, if you want to keep looking for it.
Yeah.
Isn't there something about men settling their differences physically anyway? Now, I agree that, like, okay, a Senate committee is generally not the proper venue for that sort of thing. But are we going to actually act like violence is never appropriate in any context? We shouldn't. If we're never willing to engage in violence, let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
How do we expect to keep the peace if there's no, especially in the context of, say, law enforcement against terrorists, against illegal immigrants? If there is no credible threat of morally appropriate violence in law enforcement in that way, or you could even say between men personally, like, what keeps you from being a complete jackass to another man?
Getting your ass kicked.
Like, you have a certain level of respect for him because he might be able to kick your ass.
Yeah. Bring back dueling.
So
that's one thing they could have done.
I get Rand Paul's
interestingly,
point, but I don't think it holds, like, to the absolute extent either.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I didn't find the comment that I was looking for, but I found a different one, and that was fighting in Congress was actually commonly historical.
I would believe that. I don't know the examples, but I bet it was.
It's not something you need to believe. It's something that was historically documented. I mean,
remember that guy?
I'm just saying I don't know examples off the top of my head.
One of our founding fathers was killed in a duel.
Right? Yes, I do know that. That was Hamilton.
Then there was that guy who beat the other guy, who beat the abolitionist with his cane.
Watch out for Al
that
Green.
one too. Yeah,
that's why he carries a cane.
So it's not like it's unprecedented. Like when people say that, oh, somebody almost assassinated Trump twice. What does this country come to? And it says we've had presidents assassinated before. So the issue of violence is not unprecedented. It's actually part of our history.
And I get that violence carries very important moral constraints, as we talk about on this show, this stream all the time. Mm-hmm. However, the position that violence is never acceptable is ridiculous. And as far as Rand Paul's boundaries for violence here, I'm sure he wouldn't agree with the statement that it's never acceptable, because that's a plainly ridiculous perspective. I'm not clear about what he thinks the boundaries are, though. And even though I wouldn't advise two men to punch each other in the face to resolve their differences. I understand that the credible ability to do that and the toughness necessary to do that actually has an important social role. It's not to say that everybody should solve problems physically. It's just you kind of have to be capable of doing that. And the DHS secretary and the Department of Homeland Security have a lot of problems to solve physically. We can't just nicely talk to terrorists and illegal immigrants. It's not going to work. But
excuse me, could you please vacate my country? You're breaking our laws, good sir.
If somebody
But please
hates
do
you
so
enough
at your-
to kill you, if somebody hates you enough to kill you, you need to realize that being a pacifist doesn't make you a good person.
no, it makes you dead.
yeah.
Being a
There's
yeah,
a
it makes you
difference.
dead.
There's a difference between being peaceful and pacifist, right? Peaceful meaning that you're willing to use force in order to achieve that.
And you understand its moral restraints.
I hate to quote Jordan Peterson here, but a good man is not one incapable of violence. A good man is capable of incredible violence, but has it under control.
Up yours.
I do love that quote from him. I
It
just
is a
always
good
love
quote.
it.
It is a
It's
good
probably
quote.
the single piece of wisdom from him that I remember the most, and so I'll always.
There's also
carry that
that
with me.
Roman saying that if you want peace, prepare for war.
Sic vis pacem para bellum. Yes.
And the thing is, Rand Paul is acting like he's tough or honorable. And I'm not, okay, I don't mean to say that so broadly that I'm questioning his character as a man. Again, this is a guy I generally admire. But in this instance, he's acting like he's being tough, honorable in this situation. He's just being a little bitch, okay? When Rand Paul says, say it to my face, you don't really mean that, though, because this is actually a public presentation in which you are physically protected from him. If you wanted to go talk to Markwayne Mullin face to face as colleagues in the Senate, you could do that every single day in the halls of Congress, in your offices, whenever you want, and you could resolve this privately. So if you're serious about having an honorable man-to-man, face-to-face discussion, you've had literally years to do that. And instead you do this ambush when it's not face-to-face. It's a show, and you know that you're putting him in a spot where he has to be very careful about what he cannot speak honestly to you in that situation. And by the way, it's a total distraction into a personal matter and a waste of every American's time, because this is about whether this guy will fill the role of DHS secretary well. And I know Rand Paul is going to say, well, this is a matter of his character, and it's questioning, is he fit for this role? Yeah, but it's really about you, though, isn't it? Like, you're not coming at this from like a character perspective. It's just you're mad that he said that it's funny or acceptable that your neighbor beat you up. It's a personal thing that's disguised as like this patriotism point, but it's not. It's just making it about yourself, and it's very womanly. It's very weak. It's very lame, and it's a waste of our time. It's a waste of our country's resources in the Senate. I frankly, this is like maybe one of the biggest L's I've ever seen Rand Paul take. I was embarrassed for it.
You guys convinced me to be, what was his name again? Markwayne?
Your team Markwayne?
Yeah, I guess I'm team Mark. I'm not a fan of his name because it's two first names mixed together. Like somebody just couldn't decide. It's like Lee John in that movie. But
yeah.
But yeah,
Wait
all
a
right,
minute.
fine.
A black man is trying to tell us that combining two names is is a bad thing. I almost said a black.
He needs
thing.
it.
Jesus Christ.
he needs an apostrophe between Mark and Wayne. Okay,
that
let me
makes
tell you why Mark
no,
Wayne
no,
sucks.
He
though.
needs a click between Mark and Wayne in order to. And his
Let me
last
tell you
name
why-
needs to be Johnson.
Or Jefferson. Yeah. Let me tell you why Mark Wayne sucks, and we'll see if you agree with it beyond just his questionable name.
Okay.
My biggest complaint about Mark Wayne is that he bitched out on Alex Preddy, of course, the guy who was going around rioting in Minnesota, ultimately was shot dead in either a ice shooting or a Sig Sauer accidental discharge.
Not shot dead, Matt. He was rendered not alive anymore.
Right. I got more on the rendering not alive later too. But Mullin was challenged. I don't know who questioned him on this, but he was challenged on his comment earlier this year that anti-ICE rider Alex Preddy is deranged. He called him deranged earlier. And Mullin said, I shouldn't have said that.
Wrong.
Mullin declined to apologize to Preddy's family. Which is good, because Alex Preddy's family should apologize to all of us, actually. I don't think they are deserved an apology in any way, shape, or form. Certainly not because someone called a deranged guy deranged.
Have you ever noticed that protesters like this always have a certain look about them? The bearded soy boy face, the
Hey,
tall,
leave us
lanky
alone.
figure. Not you. You actually
thank
have
you.
muscle on you, not trying to be gay or
you can
anything.
shorten that to none of them are attractive.
Yeah, but they have this pathetic look about them. I mean, I know people talk bad about me because they're just jealous of my beauty, but
Look at this
it's
fat
just
Beauty?
but
That's an odd choice
You're
of
doing
words. Yeah.
nothing for your own like not gayness.
well, I play into it, so I might as well. These are the cards I've been dealt with. But I've always been kind of interested in the type of uniform look that a lot of leftists seem to have. The shaved heads for the women, the colored hair, the kind of like mullet, mustache kind of guys, or the soy boy beard face. It's so when you finally showed Alex Pretty, I was like, yeah, that looks like a guy who will do that kind of thing.
He fit the template.
There was some time
The
ago,
template.
back during the Collins Show era, where I talked about the degenerate faggot camouflage. Do you remember this?
I don't remember that.
Degenerate faggot.
Well, you'll have to remind me what
How
that
they
is.
all look different but the same.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I mean.
So they all
um,
fit like one of 5 templates, basically.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, in their strive to be individuals, they all look uniform. That's the ironic thing about it.
And I am different like everyone else.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as far as the confirmation vote, Rand Paul says he will not vote for Mullin because he's butthurt. There will be a committee vote tomorrow, though, so we'll see if Markwayne gets through committee. Rand Paul says he's not going to use his power as committee chair to try to stop Mullin's advancement. Presumably, he will get to the full Senate floor. That'll be next week, assuming he advances through committee. Outside of Rand Paul, it doesn't look like there's much more Republican opposition. It looks like Mullin has Republican support. Maybe you watch Murkowski, Collins, people like that. Republicans can lose 3 and still get through with a tiebreaker. But it sounds like Based Frankenstein, John Fetterman, will support Mullin. At least he suggested that today. He didn't confirm that he will, but he suggested that he will. So that'll cancel out Rand Paul. Anyway, I'm sure you guys, have you seen the news about, speaking of questionably gay, the new supreme leader of Iran, I don't even know how I pronounce it sometimes, Mojtaba Khamenei. This report came out yesterday, or no, this came out Monday, rather.
He's a fucking faggot.
Where's my...
Isn't that par for the course for the Muslims?
Here's my soprano button.
He's a
Well,
freak.
is it gay if you fuck a goat?
No, that's bestiality.
Depends what kind of goat. Yeah.
I know. That was a
All
joke,
right.
dude. You didn't need to explain it.
I'm already stepping over. I got great jokes from the Discord server. Okay, let me do my bit.
Okay, sorry.
We didn't
we're
mean it.
treading
Just like,
all over your.
Hold on. According to U.S. intelligence sources speaking with the New York Post, intel suggests that Trump has been briefed. Trump has been briefed apparently, and the intel suggests that Iranian Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei is gay. Here is the sampling of obligatory jokes from the MC Club Discord server. He is the not Strait of Hormuz. He is his own beard. I guess he's into Gayatollahs.
Oh, hold on. I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
I guess
Say it
he's
again?
into Gayatollahs. I will see myself out. Just like he'll throw himself off the rooftop.
Boo.
Waka waka.
Seems like somebody else did that for him, though.
Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to. Well, I did because I wanted to give the Discord jokesters their credit. But did you guys have any other humorous observations about the alleged homosexuality of the new Supreme Leader?
My thing is that I'm gonna plead a bit dumb here. The whole he is his own beard. I don't get that one.
Well, a beard is in the Batman. Can you look up the Urban Dictionary definition of beard?
I don't need to. A beard is a woman who's married to a gay man.
Really?
Yes.
A woman who's married to a gay. I've never heard of that before.
I wanted to make sure I got it technically correct, but I believe I'm 99% sure that's
Basically,
technically
this
correct.
is a hypergamous woman who sees a high-profile gay man and goes, "I'm gonna marry that shit," in spite of the fact that I may never have kids, and I'm here for the money.
Okay.
So
I
when
got
you're
you.
called a beard, you're being insulted.
Okay.
Well, according to the New York Post, Trump was briefed that Mojtaba is gay, and his father, Ali Khamenei, feared his suitability to rule Iran. For that reason, Trump, according to this report, laughed out loud when he heard the claim. There is there is video of Trump learning of the news. Here we go.
Are you a homosexual, Clay?
I am. Yes, Mr. Trump, I am.
No, is that true?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
But
Marcus, did you know that Clay was gay?
Yes, I did. When we first.
Did everybody know this?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Sure.
yes.
Okay.
He let
Because
people
I didn't
know.
know it.
2000s
What the
TV was
hell?
the best.
Because I
What was that? That was from
The
Trump's
Apprentice.
TV show, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you to The Apprentice for that soundboard
Are
submission.
you a homosexual?
You could say that stuff.
That's
That's
kind of
right.
amazing.
yeah.
I was like,
You want
wish
to?
you
I'll play it one
informed
more. You
me.
want to see it again? Or are you done?
That aged like wine.
Are you a
That was
homosexual,
nice.
Clay?
I am. Yes, Mr. Trump, I am.
No, is that true?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I like the nodding.
Marcus, did you know that Clay was gay?
Yes, I did. When we first.
Did everybody know this?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Sure.
yes.
Okay.
He let
Because
people
I didn't
know.
know it.
I love that. I do.
I almost want to know the context, and I almost also don't want to know the context.
I couldn't tell you other than, of course, the show is people compete with business ideas and they either get hired or fired.
I know what the show is about.
Yeah.
But I almost want to know like the full story behind the clip.
Like why was his gayness revealed?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to go back and
Like,
find.
were they selling condoms or something? Like, what happened there?
He should
Where
have been
did this
like,
come
you're
up?
fired.
Yeah, they were selling a cure for AIDS or something like that, or they were selling. They were ahead of their time. They were selling tuckable swimsuits for Target, but it didn't work out.
Swimsuits.
Well,
Okay.
no, then he should have just brought them behind the studio and put them in a wood chipper.
All right. So the as far
Forgive
as
me one moment, gentlemen. I need to step away for about 30 seconds, if you don't mind.
all right. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Apologies.
Let's carry through here, Joshy, as far as the serious points in the report and how serious this report is intended to be understood, which I guess is completely legit. So this is according to Mojtaba is gay or believed to be gay, according to two intel officials and a third person close to the White House speaking with the New York Post. All three sources say the allegation is viewed as credible by the U.S. intel community.
Okay.
The intel says that Mojtaba has had a long-term sexual relationship with his childhood tutor. Mojtaba
right.
is said to have made aggressive sexual overtures to men caring for him. And I think this means even now, they say overtures to men caring for him, possibly while under the influence of heavy medication because he's wounded from getting hit by airstrikes. So he's on his deathbed, but he's still like reaching for a wiener or something, grabbing a guy's
Okay.
ass, something like that. He's not so sedated that he doesn't want to get a squeeze in, I guess,
All right.
according to this report. U.S. intel agencies do not have photo or video evidence of Mojtaba being gay, but the sources say the intel is solid, quote, derived from one of the most protected sources
only
the
thing
government
that's
has. It's, yeah. For what it's worth, Mojtaba is married to a woman who was killed in his wife was killed in the strikes. He also had a son, a teenage son who was killed in the strikes. And then he has another son and daughter who are believed to still be alive. There could be confirmation that he is gay, according to a recent CBS News report. Said Ali Khamenei, his dad, preferred a different successor because of unspecified quote unquote issues in Mojtaba's personal life. So they believe it's real. It's not just a bit. This is supposedly credible intel that they're operating with. I don't know if it really changes much, but it's hilarious.
If this is pure propaganda, this is the funniest psyop that has ever happened ever.
Well, I was
Right.
gonna question the relevance of this though.
Well, the relevance is if you convince the entirety of what remains of the Iranian regime that they are being led by a faggot,
Yeah.
That's incredibly demoralizing because they throw these people off rooftops for fun.
Are you a homosexual?
They'll get to the
Precisely.
Yeah. Well, speaking of dead Iranians, they killed another one. In fact, there have been 3 senior Iranian officials killed in Israeli airstrikes in the last 24 to 48 hours. They got their intelligence minister, their chief intel guy, Esmail Khatib. Ghey Mojtaba. I don't know. I have no idea. Esmail Khatib. I'm going with that. Ghey Mojtaba issued a statement vowing to avenge him, or the secretary for the cardboard Ayatollah did. We've still not seen the cardboard Ayatollah himself. And it turns out nobody wants to, when I say nobody, I mean other countries. They don't want to help with the Strait of Hormuz. Over the weekend, Trump called for other countries to send warships to help secure the Strait of Hormuz, the connection between the Persian Gulf and the ocean that handles a lot of oil traffic. No other countries agreed, and so now Trump says, who cares? I never wanted your help anyway. Yesterday, he was asked about other countries helping. He said, quote, we don't need any help, actually. So we're going to keep bombing Iranian military sites along the strait. And for now, oil markets are rattled, shipment through the area is disrupted. And for that reason, and because of sticky inflation, the Fed today said they're going to keep interest rates the same. They are not going to cut them. And so we're not going to get meaningful reductions in the cost of borrowing money anytime soon. We have stuff getting more expensive due to energy, inflation, and the cost of borrowing is not going to get cheaper soon either. So it could be bumpy in the short term. Buckle up. But, I can't remember a time without runaway inflation. It's just baked into my brain now. So I guess what else is new?
Without inflation? When I was a kid and I didn't think about these things.
Yeah. Well, you guys see Joe Kent quitting the National Counterterrorism Center. Okay. This, again, to me, file this sort of with Rand Paul. I don't think he is quite as, I don't know if it's fair to say Rand Paul was hysterical. My problem with Joe Kent here is, likewise, there's the message and then there's the presentation. And the presentation, I really have to question. But it's not just Rand Paul versus Markwayne Mullin and that friendly fire this week. It's now this guy, Joe Kent, the now former director of the National Counterterrorism Center. And this is under the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. But Joe Kent announced on X yesterday morning, Tuesday, that he is resigning. He's quitting, and he's citing objection to the war in Iran. His statement said in part, I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. I support the values and the foreign policies that you, as in Trump, campaigned on in 2016, 2020, and 2024, which you enacted in your first term. Until June of 2025, you understood that wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives and our patriots, and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. He actually went on to invoke his dead wife as a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times and as a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shannon in a war manufactured by Israel. I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people, nor justifies the cost of American lives. Now, firstly, let me say I have nothing but respect for Joe Kent and his family. He's a Green Beret. He lost his wife. He understands the reality and the cost of war better than anybody does. I understand his opposition to military action in general, or his caution about it. He's perfectly entitled to it. I share a lot of these concerns, frankly. However, I hate this grandstanding, and to me, that's what this is. If you have objection to the policy of the president to the degree that you can't serve in his administration, you say, thanks, it was a great opportunity, but I can't support it, no thanks. You hand, face-to-face Rand Paul style, you shake his hand, you resign, you move on. Now, maybe they don't even have a relationship close enough to do that, I don't know. But ideally, you discuss with the president personally, or you submit your communication personally in that way. you don't make the departure about yourself. You don't make it a show of self-promotion. It is a tremendous honor to serve the president. It should be treated as such. Now, I have some other commentary about his claims here that I think are also important, but I don't want to go on and on without letting you guys offer your thoughts.
My thoughts are going to be very... Batman, why don't you go first? I know you have a lot to say.
Yeah, so this whole thing about, I lost my wife and I have this whole service record and stuff like that. Look, again, like you said, I appreciate his service and I appreciate his sacrifice. The trouble is when you try to use that as a political tool, it winds up seeming wrong.
Yeah.
It kind of diminishes
stuff. It doesn't diminish his point. It diminishes his wife's sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
Because using that to make a political point is dirty.
It whether he intends this or not, in practice, it ends up being a shield. It is saying, you're all wrong on foreign policy. You're wrong about the war. You're wrong about Israel. You're wrong about all these things that I care about. But if you have counterpoints to me, here's my personal story. If any attack on me is an attack on that. And I don't think that's correct or fair.
I agree. And beyond that, there's been this whole thing where people are comparing Iraq and Afghanistan to the war in Iran.
I
say war.
Yeah. I do it. I'm one of them. So I'm guilty as charged.
Right.
Yeah.
The trouble is I've been pointing out to people in your server, in fact, that the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and the war in Iran are apples and oranges. They don't serve the same functions.
How so? What's the difference in your judgment?
So Iraq and Afghanistan were reactionary wars, I think, to 9/11. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody really disputes that.
Rightly or wrongly is the only asterisk I'd put on that. As in, was Iraq a justified target post 9/11? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even if I told you, I think it was a wrong target, right?
That was the reason. That was the rationale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Afghanistan, I mean, that's where empires go to die. So, I mean, historically speaking, that was a bad move. But Iran is a different story because of the ethnic makeup of Iran, because of the history of Iran, because of the functional capabilities that Iran has in comparison to what Iraq and Afghanistan were capable of, et cetera, et cetera. Now, Iran has been threatening to create a nuke and nuke us for decades. They declared war on us. When was it? Like
I assume as soon as Mojtaba's dad came in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they have hated us for decades. They have wanted us dead for decades. They have been doing everything they can to kill Americans for decades. They've been the greatest sponsor of global terrorism for a very long time. And we want to say that this is the same as Iraq?
So reason for getting involved different. If I were to try to take the other side, I'd say similar circumstance, though. Middle Eastern dictatorial state where we are going to go in and try to conduct some sort of regime change, acting like we have the hearts and minds of the people when in fact we do not. And we end up in an extended quagmire where we're trying to prop up people we think are friendly to us. Half of them probably aren't. We waste a bunch of money. A lot of people get killed. And at the end of years or even decades, it's basically the same guy running the country. But
do you think that is an appropriate analysis of Iran?
That is my fear. That's my concern. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, I have studied Iran sufficient to tell you it's for sure going to happen. But I've seen the movies of Iraq and Afghanistan, and with a layman's understanding of the region, that's the worry. So when I say that it's a perspective I share or I'm sympathetic with, it's with a full acknowledgement that this is like a very broad 30,000 foot view that lacks the finer details that you're probably talking about. So I'm certainly open to being convinced that this is that we're doing the right thing here. And it's going to work out well for us. And it's going to be totally different than those other two countries. It's just I have a surface level understanding, and I don't see apples and oranges. I see like we already tried Granny Smith, and that was terrible. We tried Cosmic Crisp. I love those apples. But that was terrible. Okay. Now we're looking at Macintosh and like describing the differences in that apple.
Okay.
Again, it's not me insisting I'm right. I'm just saying these are my concerns. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me describe to you why this is an orange. First of all, Iraq and Afghanistan are both ethnically Muslim, ethnically Arab and naturally Muslim with regards to their history. Everybody there is an Arab, and everybody there is sort of functionally Muslim, culturally Muslim, etc., and has been for a very, very long time. Iran is not the same. Iran is ethnically Persian, and they only became a Muslim nation when they were invaded about, what was it, like 70 years ago? 50? Actually, it was like 50 years ago.
Was that pre-revolution? I don't know. I don't know the time. I don't know.
It was the revolution that put the Ayatollah in power.
So we're talking late 70s?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you now have an ethnic group that is not naturally Muslim, that is forced to be Muslim by Arab invaders.
I hope so. I'm just wondering when that uprising is going to happen. But the one thing it
has happened. It has happened multiple times.
And then they shot a bunch of
several decades.
And then they shot a bunch of people dead recently too. But I was thinking about this too.
They've shot many people dead over the course of the last decades.
Well, and I was thinking about this too. If there is like an organic, gigantic resistance, and I hope there is, for my concern of like, why aren't they? Now's your time. Like, go get them, like Trump said. However, with the active bombing still going on, if you were an Iranian resistance force right now, you would wait until the bombing was effectively over, both because you don't want to get accidentally caught in the bombing, and you want the supreme leader and all his buddies to be as weak as possible when you go for that move. So that's the hope that I'm holding on to, that you're exactly right, and that there is real opposition in Iran to reform their government well beyond what existed in Iraq and Afghanistan. I hope that's true. It would be great.
They killed like 30,000 people recently.
Yeah.
Like since all of this started. That's not a move that generates a great deal of morale in resistance.
Yeah, you think twice before going out to try it again.
Yeah. And again, remember, like, we think like Americans. We think like, oh, they wronged us, we're going to fuck them up.
Yeah.
These are not people who have lived like that for their entire lives and for generations before that. Right? They're not easy to convince to rebel in this kind of way. Right? The Iranian rebellion was not a rebellion. It was an invasion. Right? These were not Persian people who were going to go install a Muslim regime. These were Arabs who decided they were going to take over, just like Islam has always done for its entire history.
Well, I want to get back into Joe Kent's points here. We'll close out with this, and I got just a couple quick things to talk about before the top of the hour and some callers.
I just remained silent this entire time.
If you got strong opinions on Joe Kent or Iran, you chime right in. But
let me make one final point.
Yeah.
I know people in Iran. I know a couple of people. Admittedly, it's a small it's a small sample size, I guess, but both of them have told me I would want nothing more than the US to come in here and destroy absolutely everything about our government so that we could rebuild it.
Well, they don't know Mojtaba, do they? Can they confirm if he's gay or not?
I haven't asked.
Okay. See if you can get intel on that. But sorry, Josh, do you have a thought? And then I'll jump into Joe Kent.
Well, I kind of like Joe Kent should have done with President Trump. I kind of privately mentioned to you why I wouldn't really comment much about the Iranian war. It's because I'm at a point where, okay, who do I hate more? Do I hate the nation state of Israel more, or do I hate the infidels more? Right? That's kind of where I'm at. I'm looking at this from a kind of a religious standpoint, right?
Okay.
And I find myself leaning more side on the I really don't like Israel more than I hate the infidels, I guess.
Well, you have that in common with Joe Kent.
Boo Jews.
And with
Well,
Iran.
I guess, yeah.
I don't know if my reasoning matches with his reasoning, though. I guess that would be a distinction.
let me go through a little bit more of his reasoning. And up front, let me just say, I'm not saying Joe Kent is a liar or wrong. I don't want to be misunderstood. But these are big claims that he's making. When he says that the U.S. was pressured into this war in Iran by Israel, he says his wife was killed in a war, quote, manufactured by Israel. Again, not saying the pressure never happened, to give that as much credibility as I can. We know Marco Rubio had that commentary about Israel making the first move, and we kind of had to go along with it to protect our guys and our interests in the Middle East. So there's been other commentary to that effect. I don't mean to dismiss it totally, but it's a big claim to make in a letter without really describing specifics or without providing evidence. Maybe he'll do. I know he was supposed to go on Tucker tonight, and I thought it was going to be live on X, so I was trying to tune in to watch that, and I didn't see it, or maybe it was somewhere else where I wasn't looking. So maybe he has more information that I just haven't seen yet. But that's a big claim to make, that it was pressure from Israel that pulled us in, and not the decision making of Donald Trump as commander in chief. As far as the manufactured by Israel claim about his wife's death and the conflict or the war manufactured by Israel, his wife was killed by an ISIS suicide bomber in Syria. This was 2019. And I'm asking genuinely for him to explain. I'm not asking rhetorically to dismiss the point. What part of the conflict with ISIS did Israel manufacture? And if he has such opposition to Israel in this way, that's fine. You're allowed to have that perspective. I do have to question why you would agree to serve this president at all, though, because love it or hate it, Donald Trump has always been a pro-Israel president. I don't think he's wavered on that very much. So if this was
been anti-Iran.
And so if this was your position the whole time, or this is what you believe, I have to question why you'd accept the role in the first place. All of that is on top of the claim in here that Iran was not an imminent threat, which is also debatable for Joe Kent himself. And this is the other problem for Joe Kent's opinions. Again, it's not that you can't have these opinions or defend them. It's that his opinions appear to have flipped without much explanation. So back in 2020, Joe Kent was tweeting at Donald Trump, quote, "We should not sit and wait for the next attack. Wipe Iran's ballistic missile capability out and get our troops out of Iraq. They are only targets now." And there are many more examples about him being in favor of Iranian intervention on X as recently as 2024. He also said in congressional testimony last year, the audio is a little bit low here, but he lists a series of imminent threats to the United States, and Iran is mentioned by him.
Would you seek to expand that to other groups you've proposed treating like terrorists?
We've got our work cut out for us right now with imminent threats coming from ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Iranian threat network, the cartels and violent gangs that were just designated. So it's, of course, fine to change your mind. I'm not saying he's bad if he does that. I would like to know why he changed his mind, and perhaps he'll explain that now. But he does have some explaining to do. There are also accusations that he's a leaker. This coming from Trump's former deputy chief of staff said yesterday he's at the center of national security leaks without specifying what those leaks are. But it's possible that the writing was on the wall and Kent just wanted to get out ahead of it, and that's what happened here. Now, if Trump was angry with Kent, he didn't really express that yesterday. He said Kent seemed nice, but he was weak on security and wrong about Iran.
Well, I read his statement. I always thought he was a nice guy, but I always thought he was weak on security, very weak on security. I didn't know him well, but I thought he seemed like a pretty nice guy. But when I read his statement, I realized that it's a good thing that he's out, because he said that Iran was not a threat. Iran was a threat. Every country realized what a threat Iran was. The question is whether or not they wanted to do something about it. And many people, many of the greatest military scholars are saying for years that presidents should have taken out Iran because they wanted a nuclear weapon.
So Trump didn't describe leaking, and by Trump standards was fairly measured in his criticisms, I thought. So it didn't seem like there was a lot of hostility. But do you guys have any other thoughts on Joe Kent's opinions, course of action, anything like that?
I will say that his
It seemed
reasoning
like you pushed out.
Sorry, let's go Joshy first, and then Batman will close.
Okay. I will say that his reasoning and my reasoning are totally different. So,
okay, so your
when it comes
opposition
to
to Israel is different from Joe Kent's.
yes,
Okay, yours being religious in nature, is that what you're saying?
yes.
And his being that they're stirring
His
up
read
wars
more-
and guiding U.S. foreign policy, or
Yes.
pressuring U.S. foreign policy.
Yes.
Batman?
Well, it just seemed to me like he pushed out. Like he seemed to understand exactly what the threat that was posed was prior to whatever this shift was in his thinking. But now he's trying to use his wife as a reason to blame Israel for the Iran war. Like, none of this makes sense. None of this makes sense.
Yeah, even if that is,
Listen,
he could have that
I am-
opinion if he wants, but the timeline doesn't make it. I don't understand why
Exactly.
he's in the. I don't understand why he's in the administration if he thinks that.
To be clear, I am no fan of Israel. I think they've been robbing us for decades, robbing us of technology, robbing us of information, robbing us of a whole lot of things. The nation of Israel, the nation of Israel has done a lot of really shady shit over the entirety of their existence, frankly. But that also doesn't mean that they're as bad as the Islamists.
Yeah, that's kind of the struggle that I was dealing with. Like, who do I say currently because long term speaking, I'd rather deal with Israel than any Islamic nation. But
you are allowed to oppose both and be friends with neither. That is a choice you can make. Yeah.
Well, I guess I find myself there. I don't like.
I
the
don't mind
infidels.
being friends with Israel, but we need to put them in their place.
I do. I actually do mind. If I were in charge, I probably would have just cut them off entirely.
Well,
But we
that's
need to
until
put them
they
in
say,
their
Joshy,
place.
we have the Epstein files and you're in there. So you better not because we'll expose you.
Look, man, I needed the money. Okay.
Anyway, I'm out of time here. I'll get to callers momentarily. Just a couple quick things I wanted to mention because I think they're important as it relates to the Old Dominion terrorist attack on Thursday. I recall this is the guy from Sierra Leone, West Africa, the immigrant who spent the last decade in prison for trying to support ISIS. And then he's out now and he just walked into an ROTC class and shot it up with a .22 Glock before members of the class rendered him no longer alive, as you referenced, Joshy. And the FBI agent.
It's so hard for them just to say they killed him.
No, I love the way she phrased it, so we'll go with that. But of course the questions are many. What is he doing out of prison? With the federal probation office responsible for him still hasn't commented, as far as I've seen. Why is he even here at all? The complexities of trying to denaturalize or deport people who are naturalized citizens, as he is. But there's the question of, like, what is he doing at the school even? We also had some clarification on his gun that we talked about on Sunday. It was an illegally acquired gun. He couldn't have a gun anyway because he was already a felon. But what's this guy doing at the school? Did he just choose that target at random, or does he have a reason to be at Old Dominion? Turns out he was an Old Dominion student. He was enrolled at the school. And then the question is, you let a guy who just got out of prison for supporting ISIS go to school there? The answer is they have to, because of the legacy of Democrats in the legislature and former Governor Ralph Northam. In 2019, the Virginia legislature passed a bill, and Ralph Northam signed a bill that says in college admissions, you cannot consider the criminal history or ask people about their criminal history or deny them admission to the school on the basis of criminal history.
Yeah,
so
how'd that work out for him?
Well done to Virginia Democrats. Score one for the social justice. And at least they were able, he killed that professor and that lieutenant colonel who was teaching the ROTC class. So there was serious damage done. They didn't render him no longer alive quick enough, unfortunately. And God bless Lieutenant Colonel Shaw, who was unjustly killed by this man. But speaking of rendering no longer alive, there's additional wisdom from the Virginia legislature, and it's not just their attempt at banning all the guns, which they've done with several bills that are now sitting on the governor's desk awaiting her signature. You look at a case like Old Dominion where a guy breaks in with a gun, and thankfully he is incompetent and he has a .22, so he only kills one person, and they render him no longer alive with a knife and fists. And most of us would probably look at that and think, wow, probably would have been good if there was somebody with a gun there who could have taken him out even more quickly. No, say Virginia Democrats. Actually, this proves that you don't need a gun to defend yourself.
Oh my Lord, I've seen that coming.
Because after all, these ROTC cadets, they rendered the attacker no longer alive without using a gun at all, so you can do it too. This is Virginia Democrat State Delegate Garrett McGuire this week.
I asked the body to look at line 49, where we exempt cadets in a college ROTC program. Even though that we know that it's not always true that you need a gun to fight back someone with a gun. Because those hero cadets
like he's
didn't.
Afraid on stage.
Levu Labrescu, a Holocaust survivor, professor at Virginia Tech, didn't have a gun when he selflessly gave up his body to prevent the Virginia Tech shooter from entering his classroom and saving lives that day. So, Mr. Speaker, I move that we adopt this important conference report.
Look at this. No, fuck. Dude, first of all, you sound like you're about to cry, right?
He might be.
Yes.
Yeah, Markwayne should kick your ass. Toughen you up a little bit. But no, it would have been easier to render that dude not alive anymore if they had a gun.
Well, yes, I don't dispute that point. And even his secondary point about the guy at Virginia Tech, he gave up his body to stop the shooter. The Virginia Tech shooter killed like 20 people. Are you talking about Cho?
22.
It was, and he did use a 22. Was it 22 with a 22?
I think it was.
Okay. So the idea that, first of all, I'm not just giving up my body to stop a shooter. I would rather stop him with a firearm. Why do I have to give up my body to him? As honorable as that may be for someone who's forced into that situation. Second of all, the giving up of the body clearly did not stop the carnage. There was mass carnage. You're going to cite Virginia Tech as an example of a place where not having guns produced a successful outcome? Are you out of your mind? These people are crazy.
I don't even say they're crazy.
I appear
They're
to
just
have been
malicious at this
corrected.
point.
I appear to have been corrected. It was apparently 27 with a 22.
Yeah, he killed a lot. It's one of the biggest mass shootings in the history of the country.
Yes.
So,
They want us disarmed, so we're easy prey. That way it says, well, if you just give us more power, we'll stop the bad guys this time with the anti-gun laws.
Well, and a little bit of a thought exercise here too. Let's say, so the shooter in this case kills one person, and then they render him no longer alive with their fists and a knife. And he says, see, you don't need a gun. Let's say that instead of them being successful, they were actually unsuccessful, and he chode that whole class with a 22, took them all out. Do you think this guy would come around and say, man, probably would have been good if they had a gun? No, he'd say, see, look how bad guns are. We have to ban them.
Yeah.
So if you're successful and you stop the guy, well, guns aren't needed. If you're unsuccessful and he kills you, guns are dangerous and we have to ban them. You notice how the facts will never actually change the conclusion. The guns have to go away for you, not for the criminal who violated the law in acquiring it and comes to your college to shoot you with it.
Yeah. Our nation
and
is ran
also
by
they
criminals.
totally ignore the fact that the gigantic majority of armed conflicts in this are stopped actually 100% of armed conflicts in this country are stopped by a good guy with a gun.
Not the rendering no longer alive.
Excuse me.
They didn't.
Excuse me. Not a good guy with a gun, but a guy with a gun.
Yeah.
Right. It's either a cop stops them or they stop themselves with the gun.
This may be the only case where I can remember someone being legitimately killed in self-defense in a mass shooting, not by gun. It was not a suicide. It was not a cop shooting him. He just got stabbed or beaten. I can't remember another case like that.
Nor can I.
Okay. We got to get to our calls, but before we do, hey, have you considered...
it means that he really sucked with his gun.
Don't interrupt my promo. Hey.
Damn it, Bruce.
Have you considered joining the MC Club? Well, you should. Here's why. Hey, if you enjoy the show, please consider supporting the show by becoming a member of the MC Club. For as little as $1 a month, you will enjoy a series of exclusive perks, including ad-free videos and podcasts, video calls, and a community Discord server with me and other listeners, loot box giveaways with channel merchandise, your name in the credit roll after videos and streams, and much more. But most importantly, you will help keep the Duct Tape production alive and independent from all those sinister forces of control. Join the MC Club at mattchristiansenmedia.com/support. Linked in the description. Okay, we'll get into some calls here. Are you guys unmuted in Discord?
I have no clue.
Yes.
Let me look. I had to get my shit together first.
Okay. Let's talk to RB first. RB, it's probably like 5 in the morning in Eastern Europe. Thank you for calling in.
Hello, yes. No, it's 3 actually. We moved 1 hour, or you moved 1 hour ahead, and we didn't. But we will be soon. There is like a delay in these, so it will be 4 a.m. eventually. But yeah.
You're in Slovakia?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I guessed based on the accent.
Really?
I
I did mention it the first time I came on, but you weren't there that time. So
I was not there.
That was a good guess, yes. Technically, I'm natively Czech, but so my accent, if it's anything, it's Czech, but Slovakia is where I live. Yeah.
Well, what do you got for us?
Just observing, monitoring the situation around Iran. Regardless of whatever geopolitical armchair analysis I might have or anyone else might have, it's thing that seems will be going on for like it's a commitment. Like it will be going on, barring anything like Iranians just throwing their hands up out of the air. I had noticed that domestically, at least in the US, nothing ever happens over here. It's a country of 5 million people. So, although the prime minister was shot like a few months before Trump, that was weird.
Was he killed or did he survive?
No, he was shot like 9 times by a 9mm and he somehow survived.
Wow.
It was very weird. Yeah,
that's gangster. He should make a rap album.
Yeah, someone jumped at him like point blank and unloaded 9 bullets at him. Like they pulled 6 out of him, and he survived. It was a very bizarre event.
The dude has a brass pair.
Yeah. So just mentioning that is like nothing happens here. So really, the only thing that I have left to monitor on while doom scrolling on Twitter is political situation, the political theater, the great entertainment of our time over in the US. And what I've been noticing that the Democrats, the opposition force, have been sort of mobilizing, and I'm worried that they will use this as a they will use this as a wedge, particularly the stuff like the school getting blown up because of bad intel or AI.
Has it been confirmed who's responsible for that?
I think it was confirmed that it was a Tomahawk, that it was a U.S. Or Israel strike. That, as far as I can understand it, it was outdated intel. That the location used to be some kind of military, like intel location, but that was out of date. So they just dropped a bomb on it, and it happened. It wasn't. What happened. But I've seen some indication that they are going to use this. This is going to be the Abu Ghraib, right? This is going to be the spectacle. This is going to be and they're going to use it to either impeach or put various members of the admin in prison for that. This is corroborated or indicated by the fact that people like, Gavin Newsom sort of signaled for Team Boo Jews. Not necessarily somehow like full-throatedly, but I think it was regarding this. It was specifically in regards to this school event. He signaled for Team Boo Jews. So that gives me the indication this is going to be their linchpin. And it's not like they're also mobilizing other fronts. And I've noticed that the Doge kids, the kids that Musk brought in and then sort of dumped them in there in the lion's den and sort of left them in there, they're already getting dragged through courts, through some kind of civil
I've seen some of those
proceeding.
Depositions. They're pretty funny, actually.
Yeah,
they're supposed to be bad, but I think they're kind of cool.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to be there. Like you're sitting against like some insanely trained NGO lawyer, like giga-liptarded civil rights inquisitor, and he's you're sitting in a rigged psychological game where basically any answer you make is the wrong one because the regime under which you're operating basically surreptitiously, and you're trying to always frame your actions as falling under their morality, the morality their own. So like all the Doshkas were basically hedging their defense on, I'm actually doing the colorblind anti-racism. I'm actually removing discrimination when I'm, slashing these funds for gay dance therapy in Ghana and whatever.
Yeah.
But
we'll have to wrap up quickly here. But if you have a last thought, go for it.
Yeah, but the thing is, to them, because on Twitter the reactions are, throw them to the lions and good more and more severe and basically send those kids to prison. And those kids don't really know. Well, the kids are 25, but still, I'm worried that they won't get any kind of institutional support and backing and protection and defense that any given liptard would.
We'll see. I know that the sham impeachments are coming when they control the House for sure. They're not going to get they're not going to get the Senate, and even if they did, they wouldn't have the numbers to do anything about it. But I think you're right that you could see the sort of lawfare by DAs or state prosecutors going after Trump people if they want to try to stretch the law in some way. I could see something like that happen. This is what they do. So we'll see, man. Appreciate your call.
Yep, nothing.
Thanks for calling in.
Have a good one, man.
Yeah, the funny thing is that while he's very interested in our politics, sometimes I find it just as interesting to study the politics of another nation myself, because I live here in the U.S. It's like, what's going on over in South Korea or
do they have
Japan
a monarchy there?
Slovakia.
Was it Slovakia? Is that the country?
I was really tempted to ask him like what the politics of his country are, but whatever.
All right, let's get to and to his point, I have no doubt that the Iran war is going to be a campaign focal point for Democrats. Yeah. It's interesting that he framed it in the context of the children's or the school, which obviously it's important to get to the bottom of who did that, and if it was us, you need to figure out who is responsible for that. You need to hold them accountable. I understand all that. But if I was if I was like in a Democrat strategy room, strategizing about how to use the Iran war politically for our benefit going into the midterms, I don't think that's the card that I would draw. Not that it doesn't matter morally, it does, but it's not the way I would sell opposition to the war based on Iranian kids. I think you want to sell it based on U.S. military personnel. I think you want to sell it based on economic costs to the Americans. I think you want to sell it through a domestic lens. And I think they would be mistaken if they made it a sob story about foreign children. Not that foreign children don't matter. They do. I just don't know that that's the biggest political selling point if you're trying to craft the strategy about it. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Same here. Real quickly, they are a parliamentary republic, so they're not a monarchy. So boo.
Boo Jews or just boo?
Boo Slovakia.
He's talking about Slovakia.
He's
still stuck on that.
Snuggly Love Muffin is up next. Snuggly, are you there?
Yo, what's up?
What's on your mind, sir?
How we doing?
Well, I keep forgetting to say, I think the bald look looks really masculine.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate that.
We love you. You're very special.
What else you got?
Ghey!
Shit, we have a black Korean here? What the hell happened?
Let's not eat up his time anymore. What do you got?
Okay, so I'm talking about the SAVE Acts.
Okay.
John Thune kind of fucked us on this one. I think it's one of the most long-reaching and most important things that Trump could be focusing on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of wondering where you guys feel on, like, do you agree with John Thune that we have other methods by which to actually ensure election integrity?
No.
And do we have the will to actually pursue it?
What is he proposing as an alternate method? I'd have to hear him out. I haven't heard what his idea is.
What I heard was sort of like a short clip, and he was like, "Oh, we already have some protections for election integrity." And
So just the existing law, like if you are an ineligible voter who votes, you could be held legally accountable.
That may be an unfair characterization on my part. Maybe he's thinking we should pursue that like in an individual state level. That being said, a federal election, I would assume that the Supreme Court would say that they have standing to actually like ensure the integrity of the election system. And it seems pretty obvious to everyone, including the general population, which is like 76% in favor of this.
Mm-hmm.
So...
Did they make moves today? I actually was meaning to check up on that today, and I forgot, and I have no good excuse for that. But they were talking. Mike Lee was talking about having this talking filibuster. Was there consideration or moves made today or in the last couple days? Have I missed anything?
So last I heard, basically John Thune voted no, and that pushed it over. That gave the Democrats the ability to do a zombie filibuster, like a not talking filibuster.
They're just doing the old school filibuster of we fold our hands and say no, and there's nothing that's going to happen now.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's disappointing.
The TSA thing is, I'm curious, is a TSA thing, is that actually going to work or be effective?
What's the TSA thing?
So basically they're holding up funding for TSA. So there's a quasi-government shutdown right now.
Yeah. Okay, so you're talking about the DHS shutdown?
Yeah.
You think Republicans are going to cave to negotiate ICE concessions to get out of it? Is that what you're saying?
Bro, no, I thought that they were going to use the funding as another leverage to actually pass the SAVE Act.
Oh, like make a deal. Okay, you get ICE concessions, we get border security.
Yeah,
I would take that deal, even though I think the concessions on ICE are bullshit. I would still take the deal.
Yeah,
personally,
I'm just really like, we cannot get people out fast enough, and we haven't even started to have the conversation. It's just now starting to enter the Overton window of deporting people who are here legally, but who have no business being here, like Hassan Piker and you know, you get all the Congress people who are.
I don't think we necessarily need to deport American citizens. I think we need to limit who is capable of voting.
Beyond the SAVE Act is what you're saying, like new things.
Yeah.
And you're talking to a monarchist, so I don't really believe in elections anyway. So
yeah. Shut up, faggot.
Boo, voter.
You're the faggot. Yeah. You guys think you can vote your way out of this shit?
I gotta let you go, Snuggly, but
vote our way out of this shit. Actually,
Snuggly, you got last word if you want it.
I'm an anarchist, so you can take your king and
Oh, you're an anarchist.
Voluntarist. Thank you.
Thank you for the call, man. Appreciate it.
You have a good one, man.
You too. See you, man.
Okay, let's talk to
Jesus Christ. We just had an anarchist and a monarchist in the same chat, and we did not take advantage of that shit.
I guess, yeah. I was going to say we let it go on way too long, but Fwen, are you there?
Yes. Hello.
What's on your mind,
Fwen?
Howdy.
Hello. I mean, I guess continuing on the Iran topic, but both sides of this have really, I don't want to say it's just bad faith, just simple views from a lot of people, whether it's no, we totally needed to do this. It wasn't there was no influence on us, or, the other side that's if you're not freaking out about Trump doing this, then you must be fine with it escalating to a full-on invasion. Both of those are obviously silly. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, part of my concern about it and just what I'm thinking is how long this drags on, how much political capital this burns up, whether this is just a distraction. The SAVE Act, the last caller is totally right. This would be one of the most impactful things that we could do. And I don't know how many more chances at reforming this kind of thing we're going to get. Demographics are only getting worse. I mean, I'm hopeful that things can turn around to some extent, but it's we have enough stuff going on the home front, like these prosecutions or investigations or whatever, interviews with the Doge kids. Like it's, yeah, I don't know. We've got enough going on. And like, I do think it does seem clear from the comments from like Rubio that we were like, our route into this conflict was definitely expedited by them attacking it. And like, you know, like Israel blew up a meeting among Iranian leadership while they were meeting to discuss like the latest terms of negotiations, which is pretty shady and dishonorable.
Well,
And
how do you know that?
that, I mean, that's like what the reporting has been, not just like from
The
Iranian sources.
reporting.
Yeah, I don't think it's just like from Iranian sources. When they found out that these guys were all together, and plus, like, it's not something I would put beyond like tactics of Israel, to be frank. And they certainly had the motive to do so. I mean, like cutting off the head of the Iranian leadership has been a pet project of Netanyahu for like 40 years. Which I'm not even
That's
saying
true.
like he shouldn't want that, but I'm just saying like they're certainly willing, and I don't think it's, you know, they're shrewd political actors. Like knowing that if we attack now, we're going to force the U.S. to play their hands, because if we don't also bomb them when the leadership's being taken out, we're going to catch rockets anyway. Like we're going to be forced into defending Israel. It's going to be a lot easier, like forced by our relationship, not like, you know, they made us totally do it. We've put ourselves in this position to be in a relationship like that we have with them. But so, yeah, like it makes sense. We want to strike at the same time. So we have to intercept fewer missiles. Like, you know, I get why we would do it, like attack with them. But like it does seem like, yeah, they took the chance to kind of force our hand maybe sooner than we would like. You know, Trump only has so many years, and we got enough domestic issues to worry about.
Well, thank you for the. Okay, Batman, go ahead. I was going to let him go. We could talk about it, but if you want to, yeah.
I definitely understand your concerns for sure. I don't think it is beneath Israel to do things in an attempt to force our hand. I think they do that all the time. And I think they spy on us, and I think that they steal our technology, and I think they do a whole bunch of shit like that. And not because I merely think so, but because, I mean, it's not just the reports that say that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Their technological progression has not made sense unless they've had inside sources to the US. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but when it comes to Iran, we're dealing with a very different situation than we were with Iraq and Afghanistan. And I've said this a couple of times on the MC Club server, but how do I put this? Iran is essentially a nation that has been conquered, one that has been overthrown by Islamists and was for decades. And since then, because they're Islamists, they haven't been able to figure out the nuclear shit that we did almost 100 years ago. But they are trying to figure it out. So we need to deal with that. Because if we do let them get to the point where they can defend the Strait of Hormuz with enough short-range missiles that nobody's going to be able to stop them from doing anything, we lose a lot of our advantage. And if we let them gain nuclear weapons, it becomes a new game.
Fwen, I'll give you a quick last word if you'd like.
Yeah,
keep it moving here a little bit.
Yeah, we're having trouble opening the strait anyway. A lot of our oil, none of our oil comes through there. Obviously, this does have a broader impact, but I think, and like, dude, I'm all for restoring, Persia and Zoroastrianism to this region, and but the Muslims have been
I
there.
didn't talk about Zoroastrianism, but okay.
Yeah, no, but the Persians, and so like the Muslims have been the majority there for like 900 years, so it's not like just some new thing. I mean,
No,
I'm not
you gotta think about the different Islamic empires, like the Safavids for once. They had control over that place.
yeah, but yeah, I just yeah, I don't know. I know that we're constantly propagandized to not to say like that makes it totally evil or no drop of truth, but the threat of them developing nuclear weapons, it's been they've been 2 weeks away for like 2 decades.
Oh no, I definitely understand that, but you have to
I said
understand
he got
that when
last word.
okay,
It's like,
all right,
I gotta. It's
Yeah,
a good.
thanks,
It's a good discussion, guys. I appreciate it, but
All
I
right.
have to just call it there.
Okay.
All right, he's out of here already.
All right, you have a good one, man.
See
Thank
later,
you, Flynn.
man.
I
Okay,
had a lot more to say about that, but
I bet
We
you did.
know.
understood.
When's the Batman show coming out? Where do people subscribe to that? I'm just kidding.
I'm not going to do a political show, dude. It's not gonna
Okay,
happen.
let me. We got to get into. First of all, thanks to our callers. Appreciate you guys calling in tonight. We got voicemails, emails to get to as well, but we do need to catch up with our super chatters here. So let's do that just for a moment. Hey, look who's in the super chat. Did you guys catch the show on Sunday with the Indian name?
I did not.
Okay,
I saw that part, but I kind of dipped out early because I was just really
There's a
tired.
guy who goes to the Ontario College of Art and Design who was lobbying for subsidized housing on campus. His name was Arpit Niggum. Arpit Niggum, but it looks like armpit N-word. So armpit N-word is in the chat. He says, Matt and I once made love, but we had to stop when he became the Ayatollah of Iran. Now it's just me and 200 goats. Thanks a lot, Commentator 6.
Are you a homosexual?
Thank you. Long Dong John, Matt and I once made love. I shot my missiles at his Strait of Hormuz, and the oil prices blew up so hard he called me Mojtaba.
Are you a homosexual?
Oh my goodness.
Buffalo, on the topic of university shootings, I think the glorification of self-sacrifice is an issue. No bastard, quote, no bastard ever won a war by dying for his country. He won by making some other poor dumb bastard die for his country. Not 1-to-1, but
George C. Scott delivered that wonderfully.
Is that wait? Is he the guy who is the origin of the quote, or what is? I've heard that. I've heard that the Call of Duty death screen. That's where I've heard that. Like Call of Duty 2.
Are you kidding me? That's where you heard it?
I'm pretty sure.
It's from. Well, first of all, it's it was popularized by the movie Patton.
Yeah, it sounds like a
featuring
Patton
George C. Scott.
Okay, so it
Right.
was a fictional depiction of Patton. Did Patton actually say it?
You know what? I don't know. I hope he did.
Over on Rumble, Mr. Nibble05. Sorry to hear Mark is sick. Has he considered MAID? You guys know what MAID is? Medical assistance in dying in Canada.
We talked about this.
No, Mark is not going to use MAID. That's fine.
By the way,
yeah.
I wound up having an argument with a Canadian a couple of months back, and he said, "Oh, well, 95% of our people who were subjected to MAID were, they were dying already. They had."
Isn't that supposed to be the point? Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's supposed to be the point, but the problem is he only said like 95%.
Yeah.
So I did the
Yeah.
numbers on all of that, and it seems that they have killed 700 people in 1 year of their own people who did not actually deserve to be killed.
Yeah, it's
Even
all
under their own
My understanding
standards.
is it's any reason as long as a doctor will sign off on it.
Huh.
They
Well,
just killed a guy who
so-
had like seasonal depression.
Yeah. So what happened was he gave me all these numbers and was just like, see, all of these people are actually just like, people who are going to die of cancer. And so I did the numbers and I returned to him. You realize that means you've killed over 700 people who did not necessarily need to die.
It's
And
one of
he
the
had
leading
no
causes of
response to
death
that.
in Canada now is the MAID program. It's like
I
fourth
know.
or fifth or something.
Yeah, because there's
It's
like
crazy.
4 of them total.
Yeah.
when it comes to population in the rest of the world, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Nibbles. Mark will be back, I assure you. No maid for him. Newbie of Death says he'd rather listen to a fat boy fart than a pretty girl sing. Who's this about?
What the fuck?
Is that Joshy? Would Joshy rather listen to a fat boy fart than a pretty girl sing? I don't know.
What the fuck is this?
Seems like a Joshy thing to say. I'm not gay. I'd just rather listen to a fat boy fart than a pretty girl sing.
I don't get it.
I don't know. I'm just trying to make it funny.
I like my girls a lot. I just can't find one.
Thank you,
Do
Newbie
you
of Death.
now?
When you grow your farm, when you are the plantation owner, the women are going to come running for you, I assure you.
I'll finally be able to pick out a wife.
I mean that unironically, by the way. I'm not being sarcastic. When
I
you
do
build
actually
something,
believe that.
when
I
you
do
build
believe that
something,
wholeheartedly.
build it, they will come.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm focused on right now. That's why I'm not really pursuing dating. I want to be established first.
Yeah.
And then find a wife.
Build yourself into the best man you can. It's always a
have
wise
12
move.
kids who will help me work the farm.
All right, there you go. Hottie's Workman. Kyla Turner is lying to Tim Pool right now, wasting his time like she wasted yours. The world
Jesus
needs
Christ,
less
that bitch is so
Canada.
Jeez.
She did waste your fucking time, dude.
Okay, whatever your opinion on Kyla's opinions are, which I don't agree with a lot of what she says either. I will say she's been nothing but nice to me, and she actually is willing to talk in good faith, which I do appreciate.
No, so what the fuck are you talking about? Good faith, my
what
ass.
I mean is she's not going to make character claims about disagreement.
Bullshit.
She hasn't done it to me.
Not yet.
No, I think she's. I think she.
I'm gonna.
Is it?
I want to approach this from a slightly calmer perspective.
Okay.
It's not that she's made aspersions against other people, which she has. It's not that she's made aspersions against you, which she hasn't. It's that she lies. And
I would agree that the opinions are not opinions I agree with for factual reasons many times. Yeah.
Bruh, I was watching a debate between her and Andrew was trying to be nice, and she says the reason why nobody likes you is because you're just an unlikable person.
Yeah, that sucks if that happened. I haven't seen it, but
no,
that's regrettable.
Kyla is just, she can't get an audience on her own because she's just unlikable. Have you ever seen Brian Shapiro debate anybody, which I watched the other day? Dude is insufferable, but he's
I
far
don't know
more
who that
likable.
is.
You
Who's
should
Brian
look. All
Shapiro?
right, so look up Brian Shapiro versus Jay Dyer. They did a debate one.
I'll have to do it later. I can't do it right now.
Yeah,
But
not right now, but just look it up and you'll see what I mean.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Kyla is a nice one, I swear. Although you don't have to like her opinions, but we will leave the super chat.
I don't like her personality.
They both suck.
With you.
She's also a heretic, but anyway.
Well,
Okay.
I'm not going to go that far.
Let's leave super chat there and all the Kyla smearing there.
There's no such thing as Protestant orthodoxy. That's bullshit.
Okay, all right.
She made that up.
Where was I going? Now I'm all confused.
Go ahead.
To Hottie Twerkman's point, she apparently on Tim Pool's show the whole week. So if you want to go check that out, she's on Tim Pool's show this whole week over there.
I don't know.
So, I don't know if they're still live right now or not, but anyway, let's get into some voicemails here. Now, I got a few voicemails came through during the show. I'm a little bit tight on time, so I'm going to listen to. We got a call from Be Humble first. Actually, before I get into the calls, let me remind everybody: if you'd like to send an email or a voicemail or a text message contribution to the show, the way you do that is through the contact page on my website, mattchristiansenmedia.com/contact. You can submit an email with the submission box there, or you can click to call the phone number and leave a voicemail. Earlier, Be Humble left a voicemail, so let's see what he has to say. This might be a little soft, but I'll boost it for the audience.
Hey, Matt, it's Be Humble. I'm going to leave another voicemail just because I feel like it's got a better chance of getting on the show. I want to talk about suicidal empathy. I think we should stop calling it that, because I think that it kind of is, one, inaccurate, and two, it's something that leftists and certain people who are committed to the ideas that we call suicidal empathy are actually willing to die for. Like, when you say suicidal empathy, I think a lot of people on the left here oh, I'm just an asshole who is not willing to sacrifice anything to be a good person. And they take that to mean, well, I'm going to be a good person even if it costs me. And they carry the cross of suicidal empathy up the mountain and are willing to be hung up in front of everybody for the sake of diversity and inclusion. But the fact is that it's not empathy at all. Empathy is the ability to understand how someone else is feeling. These people confuse empathy with the ability to imagine how they would feel in that situation. They're two distinctly different things, because if you're not emotionally intelligent, you don't understand that other people don't feel the same way about the same things that you do. But people who are emotionally unintelligent assume that everybody else feels the guilt that they would feel in the same situation, or feels the desire to do better. And they don't understand that some people have no desire to be better and are not guilty about the evil that they do. So it's not suicidal empathy. It's false empathy. It's faux empathy. It's not real. And I think we need to call it out and not confuse it with any form of empathy whatsoever. I mean, don't think like.
Well, thank you, Be Humble. And I don't know that suicidal empathy and false empathy, as you're characterizing it, I don't even know that they're mutually exclusive. I think they're kind of the same thing, if I'm understanding you correctly. And it's not false in their conception of the term. Now, I grant your premise that it's false in what empathy properly defined should be. But in their sense of the term, that empathy is just accepting and tolerating and allowing anything that anybody wants to do ever, unless it's right-wing politics, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's feeling bad for somebody or accepting or tolerating them without any moral guidance or framework for that acceptance or tolerance at all. It's just acceptance and tolerance is good for its own sake. There are no moral conditions or moral guides that constrain it. And so it's morally blind empathy that they're talking about. And that's the problem. And I think that's really what both terms are getting at. Suicidal empathy and, as you call it, false empathy, or however you'd like to title it. Excuse me.
It often gets confused. Oh, go ahead. I thought you were done.
Well, the reason I think they're related or very similar things, or maybe the same thing, when your tolerance or acceptance of others does not have moral limitations or moral framework, one, it's false in the way you're describing Be Humble because it rejects moral truth, and and two, it's suicidal because that's the consequence. Embracing falsehood leads to destruction. It leads to death. It leads to damage. Falsehood is the cause in the way that you're describing. I think death or suicide is the result. And so I view these as kind of cause and effect rather than different things, or maybe one like
entities.
Yeah, I think they're very similar. Now, for your point on branding, maybe it could be branded better to be more like politically palatable. But as far as describing the phenomenon, I don't actually have a problem with suicidal empathy as a concept or as a title. What do you guys think?
And actually, I think that just calling it false empathy doesn't have quite the same weight.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you say that your empathy is suicidal, people, that's
well, the problem is
more it hits harder.
If you think that's bad, the highest virtue to these people is dying for some pointless cause. Look at Alex Preddy and Renee Good and the rest of them. They're martyred for their nonsense.
The thing is that I think people confuse empathy with sympathy, right? Sympathy is kind of like having pity on something. What could these how can they share the emotions of an illegal immigrant if they themselves have never been an illegal immigrant anywhere, right?
You can pretend to or try to, but can you? Yeah.
But you can't perfectly simulate that, even if you try.
Somebody here posits a new term, toxic empathy.
Okay. I don't mind
like
that too, other than
That's
term
not bad.
toxic is like one of their terms that they use. I think of toxic
So it doesn't
masculinity
give
in
them
that
martyr
bullshit.
status, but yeah.
I don't know.
Well-
It's just that in situations like that, I do have my thing is that I always gear towards sympathy, because I may not know exactly how you feel, but I kind of feel bad for you. Does that make sense? It's not.
Well,
It's not
being
even
empathetic is not always a good thing. We have conflated in our culture empathy with goodness. Empathy and
That's
goodness are
true.
not the same thing.
You're right. But for me, it's always been I'm more sympathetic. Like, I know I make fun of Protestants a lot, but I am actually more sympathetic towards them than I would be the Catholics, right?
So you pity
So that's-
them because that's what you said earlier.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I know it sounds
So how do you feel
infinitely
about
worse.
people? How do you feel about people who are not of the faith then?
Not of the faith? I don't exactly pity you. That's a good
Need to think
question.
about it
I
for a
have to-
minute.
Yeah,
we
I
can
did
come
need to
back
think
to
about
it.
that for a second.
Let me get into some email questions. Well, and I do see text messages and voicemails as well. I'm going to try to get to as many as I can. We'll see how we do time-wise. I appreciate you guys contributing to the show, and thanks for participating. We'll come back to voicemails and text messages later if there's time. I want to make sure get to our emailers, and then we'll get back to it.
I think
So-
I thought of it real
Okay,
quickly.
go ahead.
So it's not that I have no sympathy for people not of the faith. I do see it as an opportunity, though, right? I guess it kind of depends on the person. Like, if I have sympathy towards a person not of the faith, it's probably for a totally different reason. Does that make sense? Or am I not making
No.
sense? I guess it is kind of more the same thing, sympathetic, but probably for two different reasons.
Can you repeat the part of the stuff where you said all about the things?
All right. I have an update
Yeah,
from
I
Cheyenne. Cheyenne is the guy who wrote last week describing a self-defense situation getting charged with attempted murder. I don't know if you guys
remember.
caught this.
Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
I was
that.
here for that.
Yeah, of course. Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. I forget who's here on a weekly basis. You know?
Robert and Batman was on.
That's right. It was Batman and Robert. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if people didn't see, long story short, this dad he's been charged with attempted murder for what he says is a very clear self-defense situation. His question was, should I take a plea deal to avoid prison on behalf of my son, or should I fight for the truth and plead not guilty and face trial? And we talked about that last week. We didn't have a lot of information about what the circumstances were. Cheyenne Westover is the emailer's name, and he emailed again this week to provide a little bit more context. So I wanted to add that to the discussion. He says he's very honored and starstruck to be brought upon the show. Well, thank you for contributing to the show. This is a big deal, and I'm sorry for your circumstance, man. This is a rough one and very important to think about. So, to provide more context, this is all publicly available. Last year, I was attacked on the driveway, in the driveway of my home. The individual ran at me from behind. I drew my firearm at the same time he closed the distance and grabbed the barrel of my weapon. We wrestled for control of my weapon, and during the struggle, he was shot once in the leg and once in the earlobe. Dang. He then collapsed on top of me and was shot again in the shoulder while trying to disarm me. After I got control of my weapon, I called 911. I started giving him first aid until the ambulance arrived. I told you I'm a single father. At the time of this shooting, I was a married father. The individual who attacked me was or is my wife's illicit affair partner. Once the police and myself learned of that, I was charged with attempted murder. Imagine getting charged with attempted murder and then filing for divorce. My next hearing is a pretrial to accept or decline the deal. That's next week. If I decline, then the trial is 2 weeks from now. I'm not asking for legal advice. I suppose what I'm asking is, am I compromising my principles accepting their deal? Am I selling my rights for my freedom? Or is all of that a luxury for childless people, and the only thing I should worry about is my son? Father to father, what would you do? Love the show. You're doing great work. Well, thanks for participating. And again, I'm terribly sorry for the circumstance, and honored that you'd value our opinion in navigating this. So, and I appreciate your
Reading that made me legitimately angry.
Well, it should.
I'm gonna leave that up to y'all since y'all fathers and I'm not. So
all right. We'll see.
Why don't you go first, Matt?
Let's see if we can prompt a solid opinion from you, Joshy, nonetheless. Okay. But the fact that this happened on your property makes me more sympathetic to your case. Of course, my opinion and the law are two different things, but that does help me understand why you're calling it an obvious case of self-defense. And this was a tough one to think about last week as we discussed Batman. But after consideration, I am going to stick with my initial reaction last week, which is in the camp of protecting your son. You cannot be a proper father to your son when you're in prison. And yes, this is your wife's fault, at least as described. Yes, it is this cheating guy's fault. But it is up to fathers to sacrifice for their children. And it's not just, of course, what's happening to you is not right, but that is what sacrifice is. It's doing what's hard on behalf of your children. The thing is, if there's going to be injustice here, the question is, who should suffer, you or your son? There is injustice in you accepting a deal insofar as it is not pursuant to the truth as you describe it, but your son is protected from that suffering. There's injustice in you going to trial and going to prison, again, because you didn't commit attempted murder, as you're describing it. But in that situation, your son suffers. So if there is injustice, who's going to suffer? You have to make that decision. And I believe there's a fatherly duty to protect your son from that suffering. Now, again, I will qualify all of this within the advice of your lawyer, as we discussed last week. If you have a good lawyer who thinks you have a very good chance at acquittal at trial, maybe it's worth the risk and you get both of the things that are sought here. You get the truth and you get your freedom. But if I have to gamble with the prospect of injustice caused suffering on the party, either you or your son, I as a father would advise taking that suffering for yourself rather than gambling it on your son. Agree, disagree?
I absolutely disagree.
Okay.
What kind of lesson are you teaching your son by bending over for this?
Are you asking me, or is that rhetorical?
Well, I think it's rhetorical. Do you have a response?
The lesson I'm teaching him is that his father will protect him from suffering. His father will be there for him.
Is that actually what he's going to learn from that? Or is he...
What lessons is he going to learn when his dad's in prison? His dad is there to teach him lessons.
Let's operate under the assumption that everything that he's just said is true.
Mm-hmm.
Now, his father is in jail and unable to care for him because the justice system has failed. Someone needs to tell this kid, of course, that the justice system failed and put him in jail for defending his home.
Who's going to do that, though? That's the problem. It's going to be a father substitute that does that. And a father substitute is just, it's not what a father who has a choice should choose.
So he should abdicate the truth in favor of his children. Is that correct?
It is the only case in which I would say that the truth here comes secondary to another interest. Yes. I know it's a massive sacrifice. I know it's a massive sacrifice, but if you have a choice to protect your children from suffering, and the only person who suffers is you, again, I'm not saying violate moral truth by, that guy, I don't like him, and he might give my son he might create a bad time for my son, so I'm going to shoot him in the face. Obviously, there are limitations here, but there's no victimization of other people.
Attacked in his home. How can you say take a plea deal?
It's injustice. It is, but how is the justice fixed? How is the justice better if he's in prison and his son is fatherless? There's injustice either way unless he gets acquittal.
You're assuming that, first of all, you're assuming he loses.
Yes, right? I'm saying if you have a good chance.
Second of all, you're assuming that telling a lie will make things better.
It will, insofar as he's not going to prison.
That's kind of what I wanted to present.
So
right?
if he lies,
it will make things better insofar as he's a president.
You know that for a fact.
Yes, it's a plea deal. That's what a plea deal is.
Do we know he's not actually going to prison, or is it a reduced sentence?
Yes, that's the plea deal. He avoids prison.
No, I still don't think this is terrible. Obviously.
It is. I grant your point. I'm not in no other context would I say, yes, betray the truth.
Aren't you the one who's supposed to be the principled guy here?
What principle
is always for the truth?
When a father has a choice to protect someone's going to suffer here. And you have to choose who's going to suffer.
Everyone is already suffering here.
I cannot pick my sons to suffer when I could relieve them of suffering and I suffer. And by the way, his suffering is injustice. It's inconvenient. He is going to be robbed of his gun rights and other things for now, but he maintains a connection with his son. And I think he suffers less that way than he would in prison.
Okay, maybe I think the other way around. I think you suffer less if you tell the truth and you stay on the path of truth,
you lose the
even if you
fatherhood
wind
through
up-
that deal, though. You lose the upbringing of your son.
Can I
At least a
kind
part of it.
bridge that gap a little bit? Because I do have a couple of thoughts on this. All right. So I'm on Matt's side, right? And here's the question I would have. If you had a truth that would do irreparable damage to a society, but a lie that would do immense good, which would you choose, right? It's kind of
always comes
you,
out.
You should choose the truth in that situation, yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes you put forth the lie, especially if the truth is going to destroy everything.
And I shouldn't even qualify it in that situation, because to your point, Batman, I will emphasize, I can think of virtually no other situation in which I would say the truth is secondary other than this one. And it's because it's a unique circumstance in which pursuing the truth necessarily victimizes your children. That's why.
Pursuing the truth creates victims?
It victimizes your kid. You're creating a circumstance in which your kid is now fatherless.
No, you're not creating it. The assholes who are trying to create a fiction
but
are creating
your
it.
choice is. You do have a choice. And I understand it's an unjust choice, but you do have a choice.
But here's the thing. I don't know how old the kid is.
No,
but hold on. Take for example the illicit affair partner. What if he gets involved with the kid's life, right? The father can't protect his son.
That's true too. I know that's speculative, but that is a major concern too. Is this mom, as described, as a psycho?
Yeah. If I were in that situation, if I had a kid, yeah, I'm taking a plea deal. Sorry, right? That's my kid. I will take that anytime. That's a sacrifice that I'll just be willing to make if I'm going to protect my son, especially against somebody who may have malintent. Because let's say that I'm rotting away in prison, and this usually happens. They start feeding this kid a bunch of lies about the dad, right? Despite what he's trying to do. Who wins in that?
You know what? Somebody here says something interesting. By taking the deal, you're admitting guilt. Are you guilty?
Yes. No.
No, in his assessment, he is not.
By taking the deal, you are admitting guilt. Actually, that's a very good point.
Yeah, it's a plea deal. It's a guilty plea on a lesser charge, and I don't know what the charge is. It's not attempted murder, but it's a lesser charge, some form of assault or something like that. But yeah,
no, I think if you are fighting against lies and evil, it is your duty to tell the truth.
Okay, I can't argue with that principle in general. I will say that in this case, it necessarily victimizes your son who's innocent in doing that. And that's why
you're not victimizing your son by telling the truth.
The choice does.
No, it doesn't.
The choice necessarily leaves the child fatherless and with an unfaithful mom who's got another guy in the situation.
And my question is this: what's stopping you from? Hold on. Wait a minute. But what's stopping? Let's say you take the plea deal, right, and you can still have a relationship with your son. What's stopping the father from telling the truth then of why he took the plea deal? That's telling him the truth. And said, look, I did this because if I stuck to my principles, I wouldn't be able to protect you from what's going on here. This is the truth of the justice system. Sometimes it's ugly. There's still truth telling in that. So what's stopping him from just doing it that way?
You can do it that way. Of course, it will have the negative legal consequences regardless. But yeah.
But admitting guilt to something that you did not do, especially when you did something noble, is how the world gets corrupted.
I mean, I'm not saying that's a wrong point. I am saying that on the other side of it,
children hostage for a reason, and it's to corrupt your reason, to corrupt your principles, to corrupt you.
Yes, but okay, let's take the hostage situation. Let's say that kids have or some hostage taker has your kid and they're threatening their lives. Now, obviously, that person is in the wrong. In the same way the prosecutors are in the wrong here, assuming this version of the story that we've been told is correct. and the hostage takers tell you, and you have credible reason to believe, we're going to shoot your kid in the head in 30 minutes unless you agree to substitute for your kid. I would argue that you have a moral obligation to substitute yourself for your kid, even though it is wildly unjust for you to be murdered. If you have the opportunity to substitute yourself in the murder for your child, a good father does that. It's still the wrong of the hostage takers. They are the ones perpetuating this moral falsehood. Moral culpability lies with them, but a father's obligation to protect his son still applies. No?
Yes. And I would absolutely jump in the way of a bullet for my daughter. Absolutely. Without question.
Is that not what this is doing now? Is it not taking the bullet for the kid?
No, I don't agree.
Why?
No, because first of all, you have the opportunity to fight it, right? This is something that
I could shoot the terrorist too. But all right. Sorry, I won't interrupt. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, in an ideal situation, you just shoot that fucker first, right? But in the situation that he's in right now, he needs to, I think, be a good role model for his son. Tell the truth. Tell him everything that's going on right now is unjust. This is why it's unjust. Run him through it and fight for what's right. And if he's taken away from him, that's, people are killed every day.
And I think we would all, because it seems like we're kind of at an impasse here where I'm not going to fault you for prioritizing the truth as a principle. Okay. It is the principle. So I'm not going to act like siding that way is indefensible. And I think I've explained where I stand on this, so I'll leave it there. I would say, and I'll emphasize for Cheyenne, if it is at all possible, I mean, if this is as factually clear as you're saying it is, as we discussed last week, I think the way, the ultimate solution here is for the truth and the fatherhood to win simultaneously. And so if there's a realistic prospect at acquittal, if your lawyer is telling you that would change or influence my strategy too.
Yeah, I agree.
But I would think that if the prosecutors are bringing the charge, they have a pretty good idea that they're going to get a conviction. Mm-hmm. However, the one thing we haven't considered here is just, it's possible that these people know that their attempted murder case is bullshit, but they're using it as a bully tactic to get the sort of
plea deal,
plea deal that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So that is another factor here that needs to be considered in the strategy is, are the prosecutors bluffing, or is their case legally solid? And only your lawyer can answer that for you. I can't. But that would be another variable I'd take into consideration here.
And the last thing I would probably suggest is that if you're particularly religious, I would pray about it too. A lot of people kind of exclude prayer in situations like this, but it does help.
We're praying for you, man. And please keep us updated in the story, and God bless you and your family, and Godspeed. And that was a good discussion, Batman. Thank you for that. I'm glad I think we gave both sides of it a thorough consideration, which I appreciate.
And you don't want to do debates, man.
That got me fired up too. I'm pissed off now.
Well, you should, as fathers or future fathers, future plantation fathers, Joshy, it should, considering such a situation should bother you, because it
does
sucks.
bother me. And like I said before, I want to be a father myself, right? But I would prioritize my kids in a situation like that. I would prioritize my kids above all else.
Here's another one we're going to talk about for 20 minutes. Death penalty skeptic. All right. He says, I'm not sure what your stance is on the he's talking to me. I'm not sure what your stance on the death penalty is at the moment, but it seems like you're more sympathetic to it than you were previously, ? I was wondering what you think of the theological argument that the death penalty is wrong because only God has the authority to justly determine when a life should end. Counter argument to this might be that someone can justly exercise self-defense to kill a person, but in the case of someone who may receive the death penalty, they've already been caught and do not pose an imminent threat to end or to anyone's life. So who is the government to decide that it has the authority to decide that the person's life should end? Do you think it is fair to say that God has delegated the authority to decide when life ends to our government? So I'll say you're right in terms of framing my general perspective. I have warmed up to the death penalty. I actually do generally favor it for a limited set of the worst crimes: premeditated murder, mass murder, rape with aggravating factors, that kind of stuff. And of course, I share your concerns that wrongful execution is additional injustice, and that's not justice, and it's a huge responsibility. However, why has my perspective been changing on this over time? My change in thinking breaks down this way. Are there crimes for which death is a just penalty? Yes, see the list. At least that's my opinion. So this isn't just a matter of stopping an imminent threat. I don't come to the just application of death just in terms of stopping an imminent threat. There are crimes committed for which death is a just penalty after the fact. And if you accept that premise, I think it's actually our moral obligation to seek that justice, not to avoid it. A person deserving of death for their crime and getting a lighter sentence, perhaps a lifetime of care provided by the rest of us, that is avoiding justice. It's additional injustice on top of the crime. So the proper answer to me is to pursue just ends, which can include death, while protecting against the dangers. And I'm not trying to pick on you, death penalty skeptic, because I've phrased it this way too, but I don't like the framing anymore of, do we trust the government to do this? Because the truth is, it's not the government that is doing this in its totality. The government is not all of the roles, prosecutor, judge, and jury. When we talk about conviction to even be eligible for the penalty, we're talking about a jury of our peers, not the government. And all of those responsibilities, prosecution, judge, jury, they are decentralized. They are trusted into different people so that no one person's malice or mistake can influence the process, or their mistake won't be maximized, and will minimize those errors. So you protect against the error, you protect against the mistake with this. The other thing you can do is have a unanimous jury necessary to apply the death penalty. That exists in some states too. You could decentralize it further, even beyond just the jury itself. Say a unanimous jury is necessary to apply the death penalty, to actually deliver that sentence. And so when you have these limitations, the error rate on death penalty or applying the death penalty for crimes that are eligible is very small. The alternative to me of intentionally going easy on the most serious crimes is guaranteed injustice on a larger scale. And so my problem, well, in addition, I should say, my problem with the argument that God doesn't give us authority to determine life and death, it doesn't really hold, partially for the reason you describe. In a self-defense situation, there is justice in applying the death penalty because your life was credibly threatened and you had to intervene to stop that threat. Mm-hmm. If God doesn't give us authority to put people to death, I'd also have to question, on what authority do we imprison people? On what authority do we seize their freedom and take their property? And all of these things we do in a justice, in the application of justice and in that context. Is that not also injustice? On what authority from God do we do those things? So I wouldn't phrase it as God delegated quote unquote authority. I'd phrase it as a God delegated duty, to differentiate between good and evil, right and wrong, justice and injustice. And when we avoid those duties, I actually think there is immorality, injustice in that. We avoid these duties even though we have the ability to pursue God's justice in the way that we ought to. Lastly, and I know I'm going on and on here, so thanks for your patience. My other problem with the argument that the government shouldn't have life and death power is that I don't understand the limit to that logic. The government can't have life or has no moral grounds on which to have life and death power. Can we have a military? A military has life and death power. Can we have police officers? Every single one of them carrying a gun has life and death power. So to me, the answer to the problem that the application of justice can be mistaken or corrupt, the answer isn't no power to pursue or administer justice. You don't remove all of that power. The answer is morally proper power, limited to minimize those mistakes. And I think that applies to the death penalty as it does in every other context of justice. So that is the way in which my opinion of the death penalty has evolved. Some people need to be fried. You just have to properly identify who they are and be very careful in that identification. Your thoughts? I know Batman agrees that we agree on frying people.
I'm sorry.
No, I am.
You mean me?
Yeah, we've talked death penalty before. I'm sure we have.
Oh yeah, and I think you're way too lax.
Okay, that's what I thought. Sorry.
Well, my thing is that I am on the same page as Matt is, but I'm also kind of on the same page as. Now listen, you've interrupted enough tonight.
He's a good employee.
Employee of the month, thank you. But no, I'm also kind of I'm also I really should have worn that costume, but
next year.
But I'm also kind of hardline like Batman is. Some fuckers just need to die, as an example. It's also as a deterrence from other people committing similar crimes or whatever, right? So it's not just what I'm trying to just kind of understand where this guy is coming from. It's like only God has the authority to determine when a life ends, right? Is it, well, if God instructs me, hey, go kill those motherfuckers over there, right? Well, he's delegating the authority to me to go kill everybody, right? That's what he did with the Israelites in the Old Testament. He said, you go kill these guys over here and make sure all of them are dead. But he's also given authority to the people who govern us, right? They make the laws. And if you say, so for example, to what end, if I kill 1,000...
Insert Nancy Pelosi clip here.
If I kill 1,000 people, are you really doing the nation justice by, well, we don't want to kill them because that's God's job. Let's just put them in prison and have the taxpayers take care of them for the rest of his days. That would be an injustice, because even back in the medieval days, if you even killed a few people, they would hang you because it was justified.
Steal a candy bar.
Yeah.
You're going to swing in the wind. Yeah.
So I can also, real quickly, the whole, well, only God has authority to justify this is, it's kind of a Protestant way of thinking.
Oh gosh. You just have to get a dig in. Go after the non-believer on the panel.
The non-believer? Well, fine. All right.
Come at me, bro.
Fine. Yeah. But he agrees with me. That's the problem.
All right. Batman, you have any fry motherfuckers opinion?
So we live in this interesting world where I think where most religions were written in such a way so as to, I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Maybe not most religions, but Christianity in particular, and the various sects of Christianity in particular, were written in such a way as to try to protect the innocent who were wrongly accused. We live in a very interesting scenario in which technology has changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
So now we find ourselves in a place where the laws let people free when we have video of them murdering somebody.
That's true.
So,
technology has made the wrongful conviction less likely, less common.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So there's this whole thing where it's like, we need to protect the innocent. We need to protect the people who are, who would be otherwise wrongly accused without proper evidence. But now, I mean, we live in a world where there are cameras on every fucking street corner, right? And the majority, I was actually on a grand jury about 5 years ago, and
federal or state?
State. And in almost every single case, there was video evidence of the person doing what they did.
So that takes about 5 seconds to bring the charges, or what?
Yeah. The whole thing, first of all, the way that it was presented, and second of all, the stupid ass fucking laws that we had in New York. And third of all, the fact that there was video evidence of a lot of that stuff made me really understand why every single one of the cases that came through that grand jury were indictments. Every single one. Now, I personally voted against several of them where there was not video evidence and where I thought the law was bullshit. And we were actually told, even if you think the law is bullshit, you can't vote against it. I did anyway.
Well, jury nullification is a thing. I don't know about in the grand jury context. I guess it would apply just the same, but
no, not quite. So a grand jury is you're basically only given the prosecution's argument.
Yeah, but if you think
you are not given the defendant's argument,
what I mean is
the
you're
defendant
free
wants to present themselves for you themselves.
Right. What I mean is you're free to vote against bringing charges for any reason. Are you not?
Technically, you're given rules.
Yeah. So is the jury when they're supposed to convict or acquit, but they can violate those rules and be like, this is fucking bullshit and vote to acquit. Jury nullification is a thing in conviction. I'm just wondering, like, does it happen in the charging decision too?
I'm not really sure because I've only had the one instance where I've been in that situation.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that there were certain instances where there was, for example, I don't want to get into too much detail because I'm pretty sure I can't. There was a person who had a gun. He was not supposed to, according to the law, have a gun.
According to New York commie law or federal.
Yes.
This was New York State, you said.
Well, actually, no, it was even better than that. He didn't have a gun. He had a magazine.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they tried to throw him in prison for it.
Just for magazine possession? Was it high capacity?
Yeah, and it was loaded. So it was pretty easy to tell he had the gun somewhere, just they didn't find it.
Okay.
And I voted to not indict the guy because having a magazine is not a indictable offense. And I actually stood up in front of the entire grand jury and I said, hey, this is not, this is bullshit. Like, first of all, not even counting the Second Amendment, it's not a gun, right? And I get that this guy is a felon who should not have a gun, but he didn't have a gun that we have seen. So this is not something that we should indict on. He was indicted anyway.
Well, Batman can't save them all. All right. Thank you, Death Penalty Skeptic. Appreciate your question. I'm going to get to one more here in the emails. And I got a lot of good emails this week, so maybe I'll try to do like some kind of lightning round.
I was going to add in something with the whole technology thing. Now we're also living in an age where AI can just kind of manipulate shit. And I know it can be easy to spot at times, but you got a lot of retarded people out there who will believe it.
I don't know. It's getting pretty good, man. I've been duped a few times. And I heard the Knigga song. It's pretty good.
It is pretty good. I'm going to mess with that as soon as the show is
all
over.
Right. Uncontrollable youth. Why do you think it is that in dating, women are so capable of wearing their being loud and proud? Sorry, this is written weirdly. Why are they so capable of just being loud and proud about their political views, while men who disagree with those views tend to try to conceal their opposing views? See Love is Blind in Minneapolis, as I've talked about. Some women have responded to this phenomenon by saying it shows that these men are too embarrassed by their political views to be upfront about them. But in reality, doesn't it show that women currently have it much easier than men in dating? Or are these men just, men in particular, just massive simps?
Okay,
you can go ahead if you want.
Okay. I'm going to put this in two different ways. I'm going to put it in a simple way, and then I'm going to refer to you guys. Most guys don't want to talk about their political views with the women because they want to smash the puss. All right? That's it. No, that's
but they're misguided. They're misguided.
Yeah, but that's typically the reason. I want to get laid. That's it. That's the attitude that most men have.
I don't know if it's all that, but it's some of that.
No, but it's I mean, if you're not being in a serious, like if you want a one night stand, yeah, you're just gonna swallow your disagreements and be like, as long as she lets me hit it, okay.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the layman's terms in it, right? Yeah.
I do think that is a motive for some guys. Like, why get into complications when I'm only going to be punished for that? Broadly,
I think
this is just a
younger guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whether they're intentionally doing that or not, I think a lot of younger guys had the same mindset I had, which is it's proper for a man to be deferential to women in that way. No, it's not. They hate it. You hate it. Don't do it. Be a leader. But this is all a symptom of the fact that women have a huge share of power socially. And yes, men have to have the proper courage to restore the proper order. And I don't mean that women can't have opinions.
Shut up, silly woman.
Although we need a little bit more of that energy. But I mean exactly that. Men lead. Women generally follow, with rare exception, because they choose to. And so for for men who have the fear that I'm talking about, like you're not actively scheming to hit it, as Joshy says, you think that a proper man is quote unquote respectful of women in that way. So you defer to their political opinions and you hide your own. No, a proper man.
There are plenty of guys who scheme to hit it.
Some might, yeah.
Well, that's my point, though. It's not every guy, but most guys, if they're on dating apps and everything, they're just looking for something to fuck.
Maybe I'm projecting my own mentality, and very few had what I was thinking. But yeah, we need to get men to be courageous enough to restore that order. And it's not like it's not putting women in their place as it's always framed, but there is truth to the fact that men and women have a natural place in the natural order, and that is male leadership and female submission, because they choose it and it suits their roles, and they're both happy when it works that way. So don't shy away from being a leader in the male context. Your life will be better for it. The only thing I'll say is, a point of caution, I understand why a lot of men aren't, because the power structures are so feminized now in school, in the workplace. You have a lot of powerful women in powerful places where if you try to take a natural male leadership role in good faith, you're going to be punished for it, or you're going to be not in favor in the workplace or in school. So
Milo was right all those years ago, and feminism is cancer.
Yes. It's ruined a lot of things. It's ruined women. It's ruined men. It's ruined the whole thing.
Ruined society, basically.
You guys have any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, just, don't be a faggot. Stand up, be a man. You'll find a woman.
Give a woman a plan. She'll love you forever.
The thing is, another thing is the fact that, like you said before, and what I agree with, you should more so focus on establishing yourself. Like, make sure you're set, and then the woman will follow. Right?
Correct. Don't sit around trying to appease women. Build yourself into a very desirable man.
And
I mean, look at hold on, but if you look at dowries that women were given back in the medieval times, right? The man had to provide something. He had to establish himself first before he could win the hand of a daughter of a father.
Yeah.
So that's what you guys should be focused on, right? Focus on establishing yourself first, and then the lady will come. You will have the option to pick. They'll come to you.
Usually the dowry was paid by the father, though.
Yeah.
All right.
So not by the man himself.
Now
we're in a situation where if you want a woman, you have to either be some combination of good looking, rich, funny, or
they all
otherwise successful.
They all want the same type. See, we men, we're pretty flexible, right? But women,
we are.
Yeah, a lot of women, not all women, all right, but a lot of women tend to go for the same type of guy, the 6-pack, 6 feet tall, 6-figure person.
They think they deserve that, but they don't.
Women are hypergamous.
But what they
will
don't
do what they think is best for them.
Yeah, but what they don't understand is that when they go for those top 5, top 1%, I watched a lot of Kevin Samuels, right? But when they go for men like that, they don't understand that, okay, you're ugly as shit, you're fat, or you have a bad attitude. Why would I pick you when I got 100 other women that I can pick from? They don't understand that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Uncontrollable Youth. Thank you for simplifying the lesson, Joshy. I got other good questions. Dagalicious, I appreciate your question about religious philosophy. I may return to it later on. I don't know if we'll have time tonight, but it is a good. Let me see if we have time at the end of the stream here. Minnesota Root Beer Enjoyer, I know you're sending emails.
Joshy, didn't you?
And I appreciate your emails as well. Nick Gurr. Nick, I appreciate you. Thank you for sending a question. I want to recognize everybody, even if I can't get to your emails tonight. But there's a couple of text messages here, or one text message I want to address. We'll take some super chat. We'll see what kind of time we have. But this came in tonight, mid-show, from a form of sound words. I'm seriously surprised by this stream. I was sure there would be a lot more skepticism to Trump's war with Iran. I have to believe that if a Democrat president had started a Middle Eastern war, you guys would be losing your minds. Am I wrong? Asking in good faith. Well,
no, go ahead.
Well, let me respond to it first. I try not to lose my mind on anything in particular. I think it is fair to say that, let's say Joe Biden did this exact same thing. I would, my concern would probably be elevated, but I don't think that that's necessarily misplaced or wrong. I'm trying to, as I've mentioned, since the Iran military action started, just in general and in principle, and according to the script I've seen the last couple times, as Batman and I were talking about, I definitely have concern with this. I definitely have. It is not the course of action that I would take in principle if I were pulling the levers here, for the reasons that we discussed. However, I will also acknowledge that my concerns on Trump's intervention recently have not really been realized. We haven't seen a whole bunch of apocalyptic disasters, and I hope for the best in Iran, and I hope it's not the sort of Iraq and Afghanistan disaster that we talked about earlier. So that's really been my approach. Yeah, I'm skeptical. Yeah, I'm nervous. Yeah, I'm cautious. But I am not going to do the sky is falling bit until I see disasters happening. And we're still too early in this to call it some kind of disaster. Yeah, we got high oil prices. Yeah, it looks like our NATO allies aren't particularly interested in helping us. But I don't want to be so alarmist that I'm unwilling to consider action contrary to my philosophical predispositions as possibly successful. I want my country to succeed. And if this succeeds in ways that I wouldn't necessarily choose if I were president, that's still good. I want my country to win more than I want to be right. So that's what I'm hoping for here. I grant your point, though. Like, yeah, if it was Joe Biden pulling the levers on the bombs right now, I'd be nervous. I'd be very worried about that. It's not. And I think Trump is different.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think Trump is different. And second of all, I think Iran is different. Now, if this were a war, a new war, started in, say, Libya or Syria or another one in Afghanistan or another one in Iraq or another one in any of those places or in Yemen or whatever, I'd have gone, what the fuck are we doing? But the fact is, we have functionally been at war with Iran for 50 years. So you can look at Donald Trump's history. You can look at him before 2016 and watch him go, yeah, we need to kind of fuck up Iran because they want to kill us and they're trying to get nuclear weapons. You can look at him back in 2011, I think was the earliest clip that I saw personally, where he went, yeah, I think we need to fuck up Iran because they want to get nuclear weapons and they want to kill us. This is not some kind of new thing. This is just, he found an opportunity and he's taken it, right? He is not being, he's not flip-flopping here. This is not a new conflict that we've had. These are people who have wanted to kill us for a long time. They have been killing us as Americans across the world. They've killed thousands of us over the last couple of decades. And people just don't acknowledge that.
Josh, you have any thoughts in closing? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to make sure.
Well, like I said before, I am also very skeptical, but unlike Batman and Matt, who have more, correct me if I'm wrong, more political reasons of why they're skeptical with this war, I have a tendency to have more religious reasons of why I'm skeptical of this war. I don't believe this war is in our benefit necessarily. I think this is the benefit of the nation of Israel.
Boo, Jews!
Fuck.
Yeah. But
Oh
yeah.
no, now we've started another 20-minute debate. Oh man.
Okay, you know what? Can I give you a biblical response to this?
Sure.
Yay, Jews!
So in the Bible, of course, you're familiar with the figure of Cyrus the Great, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cyrus was the founder of the Achaemenid Persian Empire.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one who basically pioneered the entire idea of religious tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
The idea that people should be able to worship their own gods, live in their own lands, and even if you were displaced by, say, for example, the Assyrians prior to Cyrus's rule, he would return you to your ancestral lands.
Mm-hmm.
And all he required was that you pay taxes, basically, and provide soldiers for his army should he need them.
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy who the Bible extols to the greatest amount, save for like the saints and Jesus.
Yeah, in the Old Testament.
Right? In the Old Testament, yes.
Yeah, but guess what? Hold on, I'm gonna stop you there. We don't follow the Old Testament as Christians. When Jesus was talking about Jerusalem and everything, he was talking about the body of Christ, the church. We Christians are the new Jerusalem. We Christians are the new Israel. He's not talking about the physical, geological place of Israel. And when he also mentioned the temple, he was talking about himself. The Jews believe that they want to rebuild the third temple, like the physical temple. That's what they want. So I understand where you're coming from, but that's Old Testament. We follow New Testament. We Christians don't really go by the Old. That's why
the New Testament is built on the Old Testament, however.
Yeah, but the Old Covenant has been obsolete. We're following the New Covenant, Jesus Christ. He says that the church, we as Christians, are the new Israel, are the new Jerusalem, right? And he is the temple.
So everything before that is irrelevant. Is that correct?
It's obsolete, yes.
All right, thank you for the text message. I hope we gave you a good, thorough response, a form of sound words, and I appreciate your question.
Okay, I'm gonna let it go for
on this
tonight.
topic. Turles has a thought, and I'm just gonna let Turles, our frequent caller, just chime in here. What I'm saying is, let's not do another 20-minute debate. Hey guys, Turles here, and I'm not blaming you guys. I participated too. It's just we talked about this a lot here. I don't think my voicemail went through, so I thought I'd send a text. Just wanted to cheerlead our Iran strategy for a moment. Here we go. Our decapitation operation has been wildly successful. Their leaders are almost all dead. The Gulf states have turned on them. Chinese tech has been humiliated. Asian oil prices have surged while ours remain more stable. Dang, they must be really far up there because ours are up like $1, so they must be going crazy. Their air power and navy is gone. Munitions destroyed. Missile manufacturing capacity wiped out. The list goes on and on. There was just an article in Al Jazeera, of all papers, that admitted we're succeeding on every front. Now there are Iranians on the ground calling in air support against the regime's besieged forces. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but the people responsible for repressing the Iranian people. It's truly a sight to behold. Book of the Week, Heretics by G.K. Chesterton, uses wit and incisive reasoning to challenge modern philosophies such as atheism, nihilism, social Darwinism, eugenics, and the vague modern syncretism. These words are too big. The things he saw undermining traditional values. Thank you, Turles. That is firmly.
Yay, Jews!
Okay. I got Mr. Guy with all your hilarious names. I see your texts. Nora Titsoff. Chugga Wang. This one's Dick Seaman.
That's disgusting.
I'm going to pick one of these. You can make countries smaller or fractions so they're easier to control, like the guy was talking about Yugoslavia. I don't know the context in which that fits. So I'm just going to say thank you for appreciating Mark Meckler's giant cow dog behind him. It was not dead. It was on the couch and it was cow spotted with its feet up in the air. It was great.
Are you talking about the dog in the interview?
Yeah, on Sunday.
I spotted it almost immediately. But
Okay, I do have 2 voicemails. There are a couple. One of them is Turles. That didn't come through. One more voicemail, and then we're going to call it a night with Super Chat. But let's listen to this voicemail. There's no transcription. It's 2 minutes. It's a wild card. Let's see what it is. I got nothing playing off of it. Oh, maybe that was this Turles. Oh, you know what? This is also from Turles. There's just no audio to it, so never mind. Okay,
I guess we got his.
We got
his already.
Yes, thank you, Turles. Okay, we're going to catch up with some Super Chat here. We'll call it a night. Ryan Allen, I've never been to war, but I have stopped a decent amount of fights, and I never stopped one by choking out the guy about to get attacked. We should have called out Israel publicly, and that we are aware they are about to attack Iran and don't condone their escalation. Well, first of all,
I am not going to be niggardly.
thank you for supporting the show. Okay, so in this analogy here, Iran is the guy about to get choked out. Wait, okay, so I've never stopped one by choking out the guy about to get attacked. So Iran is the one about to get attacked, and the U.S. joined to choke him out. I guess what I would say is that assumes a level of good intent on the part of the guy who's about to get attacked, which I don't know how this fist fight metaphor plays out here, but is that take too charitable to Iran, or is that fair? What are you saying?
In this case, the guy who's about to get choked out has been swinging a knife around, hitting everybody around him already.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you choke that bitch out. Fuck him.
Like you, Ryan, I'm not persuaded that I think we want to jump into this fight necessarily, but the fact of the matter is now we're in it. And so I'm just hoping that there's no more knife to be swung, to your point. I'm trying to follow the metaphor here, and my brain is past the 2.5 hour mark. It's no longer functioning.
I really need to smoke, but
appreciate your support for the show, and of course your concern for your country, Ryan. Thank you. Duvier Verdell. If he takes the plea deal, this is about Cheyenne and the attempted murder case, Mom could use it in the divorce and he may still lose his son. I would vote that he fights. It is an important consideration. Now, here's the thing. He said he's already divorced, so I believe it's done now, but I'm sure that if there's a felony, I don't know, I think he's pleading to a Class C felony was the email last week, which is the lowest level felony, but felony nonetheless. So it's possible that could be weaponized as well. That's a consideration. That's true. Even in that situation, I would say he's still out, and I doubt that his visitation or custody would be removed entirely. Maybe, but you still have the prospect of being in your son's life at that point versus 0 in the prison context. So, but I get the point that you're making. Thank you, Duvier. Taker 610. When Mojtaba meets Suck Deep, July 3rd in theaters. Right.
Are you a homosexual?
Definitely. Okay. There's one more on Rumble here. Newbie of Death. Watch the Jack Bull. I don't know what the Jack Bull is. I'll take your word for it.
I don't know what that is.
Is that a movie or something? Oh, it is a movie. It's a Western. It's a 1999 Western. Let me pull this up. It's a 1999 Western. Let's see if I can get it a little bigger. Television film written by Dick Cusack. Is that John's? Oh, John's in it. John's a character. Okay. 1989 or 1889 Wyoming territory. So some kind of Western. Looks like people get hanged or something. I can't read through this entire plot, but it's a 1999 Western with John Cusack. There you go.
I'm not really into... I mean, I know that was probably meant for you. I tried watching Westerns. I'm not really a fan of Western genre. I don't know.
Are you a homosexual?
Allegedly. Allegedly. Okay.
Okay. Anything else you guys want to say before we're out of here?
No, I think that I really need my coffee so I can mellow out, but...
That was
your coffee so you can mellow out?
I have ADHD.
It can be relaxing, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so because anything that's supposed to
Because
give you energy.
otherwise, it's like I really need my meth so I can go to sleep.
All right, we will call it there. Thanks for tuning in tonight. Thanks to our live chatters and super chatters for making the live show a success. If you're listening later on demand, thank you kindly as well. Thanks to our callers and emailers. Thanks to Joshy and Batman for sitting in tonight. Double thanks to Batman for his spot duty in the place of Mark Aaron. We send our well-wishing to Mark in the Great White North as well. Thanks to producer Tim for his assistance as always. MattChristiansenmedia.com. I'll be back on Sunday. See you then.